Hi, guys. Welcome to Journey into Freedom with me, your host, Red Gypsy. Our co host, Scarlett's with us.
Hello, everyone.
And David is going to pop in for a minute.
Absolutely.
Pop in and talk to everybody for a second.
So, welcome in, David. We should be live. We're going to let everybody kind of come in here for a moment, and I'm going to go check on chat.
Oh, yeah, the chat, because I can't do that when I'm on here.
Yep. So, we're going to go to the chat, and then I will open YouTube. Oh, and I need to start Spreaker. So give us a second here when we get everybody in the room and get everybody ready to join us tonight. We're a little later than usual, but that's okay too, right? But we are here tonight. We are live. It's Sunday. It's the 1st of March, and we are here.
We, of course, are on Freedom Revolution Network.
We are, where you can find many different things. And we've got the social network kind of up and running, and I've got to learn how to use it a little bit more. So I think that we're going to do a video here pretty soon for everybody so they can understand how to use the social network, but it's actually pretty easy. If you know how to use something like Facebook or Twitter, it's no different than that. And there's many different levels of privacy, groups, and things that you can have.
David says, doesn't so.
So it's a new one. So it's really good. We have about over 168 people so far. So come join us.
No thanks.
You're not allowed. You're a child. We probably kick you off anyway. It's a social network for adults to get together and send messages and have forums, and people have been having a good time there. So all right. So we have the chat up right now. And so whatever you guys would like to talk about, just get started.
Oh, well, David, do you want to start so you can get to bed?
Thank you all, Revolution, for all of your donations, and please keep them coming and making sure I get back and forth to the Springs and all my doctor's appointments. And what is your PayPal?
Oh, no, I didn't say that right now. I'll say it later, but anything else you want to tell people? Like, thank you for your prayers.
Oh, and thank you for your prayers. They are helping me get well. As you can tell.
Yes, we can tell.
He's better.
And he looks great. So
he's better if you're asking him questions.
Yes. And that's, and that's, I mean, when you first start doing this, you don't know what to say. You don't know what people want to hear.
Right.
But how have you been feeling? Have you been feeling a lot better? Have you been in pain as much?
No, not as much.
What are you using for your pain? Tell them what you use.
Arnica and Kratom.
Right. Yeah, I just got some Arnica here for myself because I've been having some issues with some kidney pain. So I had gotten this kind of Arnica. And I drop it. I'm not a good salesperson here.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Is that 200 milligram?
It's 200 CK, this one. And then I do have the regular, like, Arnica Montana, like, 30C. So
he's been using the 30s.
Yeah. So I got both. And this one does say pain from trauma, the 200 CK. I did notice that. But they both kind of say the same thing. They had like 20 different kinds of arnica at the store I was at, and I was like, I don't know. I'll just pick two.
They do.
They do. And how do I haven't done enough on the dilution strengths. A lot of articles just talk about the herb, not necessarily dilution strengths, right? For homeopathy. So that's not something I claim to know a bunch on, but I do know it has been helping. So,
Well, we started him on those, I think they're 6 milligrams, and then
60, yeah, I've seen those. And then the 12, they all do something a little bit different, I guess, for like how they work on pain. Because I guess the 12s are good for after surgery stuff, is what the 12 said on the container, is that it's good for after surgeries. So
Yeah.
all of them say something a little bit different about how they work. That's what I
right.
did.
The 30s, they're
We'll be right
really
back.
strong
Okay.
for him, and he started off with really strong pain.
Right.
Which, I mean, come on, there's a level 4 liver try saying this fast. Level 4 liver laceration. And broken limbs. I mean, and a broken shoulder. It gets, he's David.
Right. So we've got, I was just checking the chat to see what we had going on here.
Anybody have any questions for him or anything? We've been using this amazing arnica gel.
Ooh, that looks nice.
It is really nice. It's got hemp seed and peppermint oil.
Okay.
And it's a warming gel.
Ooh.
Which has been really nice. So, it's got peppermint oil, it's got arnica, and it is the arnica montana flower extract. Ginger, tea tree, hemp, vitamin E, and sunflower seed. So, I mean, this works really amazing on his ribs and shoulder. This, he says, it's like almost instant when you put it on him.
That's nice.
And here's what I'm about to be getting ready to start on.
Okay, this is what he's been taking. He's been taking the Highlands.
Okay, yep. I seen them.
And he's been doing the 30s. And this is bruises, sore muscles, is what it says on it. But it works really well for internal and after surgery and all of those things too. And we are getting ready to, he's getting ready to scale himself back down to the 6s.
Right.
We started at 6. That wasn't quite enough for him. So we upped him to the 30s, and now he feels like he can maybe start going back down to the 6s.
Yeah, and they do have 12s if you can find those. Like I said, I did notice the 12s were a thing.
They had the 6s and the 30s. That was our choice.
Oh, well, maybe I could try to pick up a couple 12s. Because they did have that in good stock where I was.
Any questions from anybody for David?
Oh, hold on. Let me grab. I just went to YouTube. All right. So I'm going to wait for a second for everybody and tell everybody hello really quick. So, and we'll see what everybody says. Not on my usual account on YouTube, but everybody will know it's me because I said it was. I'm gonna scroll back up in chat really quick and see what people said. There are a couple people in chat. People were asking how David was. Bonnie said that she's praying for you. Pam said, you're welcome, David, for prayers. Bonnie says she uses arnica a lot. She uses a gel topically on bruises and swelling. Pam asked how you are. Bonnie said, you're an amazing mom. And, Bonnie said that cream you had is what she uses too.
It's good stuff,
So,
Bonnie.
right? Oh, so here's a question, David. What thing do you think that you missed the most while you've been healing?
What's the thing that you miss the most since you've been healing?
Not being able to eat my normal foods.
Right. I think that would kill us all, right? That would be hard, right? When you can't eat normal foods. I think that would bother us all.
My goats.
What was that? One more time.
And not being able to be home with my goats.
Yeah, I'm sure the goats miss you. I'm sure they do.
Well, it's kidding season and we're about to start dropping kids and we're not home.
I know. I know. But you're not too far away if you have to, do something real quick. So it should be all right.
Yeah, but of course they're probably going to want a kid as soon as we get halfway to the springs.
That could happen. I hope, he'd have it under control, but you never know.
But Dell's here for if he needs anything.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, because that's one thing that I would worry about. But you got to hope that it'll happen when you're there, right? Usually in the middle of the night, to be fair.
True.
When it does happen.
But
so.
Malibu, we don't know because she's getting ready to pop soon.
Yeah, that's true. You never know. But they've come at all different times of the day, all different times of the night in the past. So it's hard to say on that one.
I wouldn't be surprised if one of them drops at midnight
And my
tonight.
little boy llama is turning into a little boy.
Oh.
I noticed today that his testicles are dropping.
Oh, he's getting big.
And he's trying to ride his mother.
Oh no, he's got to not do that.
I know, we've got to separate him because he's almost bigger than mom.
Oh, already?
Dude, he got so big in like the last 3 weeks. It's crazy.
All right, I'm gonna go to bed, everybody.
Good night.
Okay, buddy. Super early. I love you.
I know.
What?
Makeup.
I love you, baby. Yes, I will absolutely put some of this on your shoulder before bed. Hold on, guys. Let me get him ready because he's got.
You get that going, and then we'll
he's
get
got to the springs tomorrow for his teeth, the liver, and the lung.
Oh, yeah. Well, that'll be good though. 'Cause the first time we get to hear about that, so hopefully, good news.
So hopefully, well, we're not hopefully, we're done. We just went to the orthopedic, which is for the hand and the shoulder. He took the stitches out and he has cleared David. He hopefully never has to see David again in his whole life. Could you put the milk back in the fridge too? Thank you.
Yay.
Um,
That's really
so
exciting.
that is super exciting considering the fact that, these are still very open. If you go look at the pictures that we put up between yesterday and today, you'll see what I mean when I say like they're very open. They're still, very open wound. And for them to say that they don't need to see him anymore, plus, he's got the broken shoulder and that's orthopedic too. And they're like, no, with your home care
10 weeks after that.
and with your home care and your holistic things that you're doing, he said he didn't feel that he was needed anymore. And that unless David didn't have full range of motion in the shoulder in 10 weeks, unless he can't do his full range everywhere, he doesn't need to see him again. Not for an x-ray, not for a check, unless we feel that he gets an infection or he needs to be seen, at which case we can call it anytime. And he's more than happy to see him. But he just, I think that says a lot for a surgeon to be like, you know what? I don't need to see him anymore. Like, your home holistic care is doing more for him than anything. And he wasn't expecting to take David's stitches out at this appointment. He thought we were going to be scheduling again for a week to 2 weeks to take the stitches out. And then when he went to take them out, he said that it was really painful for David to take them out because once he started taking them out, he said that they should have come out like 3 or 4 days prior. David is a good week and a half to 2 weeks ahead of their healing schedule that they thought he should be on, even with the accelerated healing he was showing in the hospital.
Right. So that shows a lot.
And you've done everything since we've come home holistically.
Some Sable. Try to get it better. See what I can.
Yeah, we've done everything since he's come home holistic. We spent the first day on the Tylenol and the Oxy. The second day we got rid of the Tylenol altogether, switched him to Arnica, kept the Oxy. Third day home, we had him off the Oxy, off the Tylenol, and completely just on Kratom, holistic pain tea, and Arnica. We've incorporated a lot of extra things into his diet right now because he can't eat a whole lot. So he's getting these greens. Yeah. These isogenic greens. He really likes these. They're pretty tasty. They actually smell really good. If you do them up with some water and some ice, it's like a smoothie and it's actually really good. So he's been doing that. And he's got some protein shakes.
My favorite one.
His favorite is the strawberry. And he's been doing those, but he's got strawberry and he's got chocolate, Dutch chocolate, and then mint chocolate, but strawberry has been the favorite.
We never had mint chocolate.
The mint chocolate, David doesn't like the mint chocolate as much. He says it's a little chalky.
Vanilla's like that too, a little bit.
He says it's not too bad, but it's a little chalky. He doesn't really get that real bad chalky taste with the strawberry though.
I enjoy strawberry.
He enjoys the strawberry, guys, a lot. and some, well, I say somebody, but it's not just somebody. His grandma sent him those, so he could maintain better.
And also, they help with healing. I've known them for a long time. I used to have them myself. Used to drink them a lot. So they're really good for healing and rapid health growth. And for those who have health problems, those people seem to find better nutrition, cellular health, and just, all around better nutrition because of the way that the ISA formula is and produced and all that.
Yeah. I don't know how much these things are or what they cost or anything of that nature.
They're pretty reasonable. I think like a canister of ISA shakes is like maybe like $40 a canister.
What I can say is I know that we can't afford them right now or any other time.
Yeah, they're like $40 a canister for like a month's worth. Is about what it costs.
Actually, that huge canister that they sent is only 14 shakes.
Yep. So you need 4 technical, well, yeah, so you do need 4 canisters a month is what I was being sent.
Yeah.
So 1 a week is what you would end up doing. So, and that's for you, but that technically when you make a full shake is a complete meal replacement. So it gives you total nutrition for that whole shake. So
It is. It is.
children, even for children, because I was even told for someone like my son when he was small that it was even a complete meal replacement for him due to how many vitamins, nutrients, amino acids.
Right. Especially when you're doing it with the greens.
Yeah, the greens increase the nutrition like tenfold because the greens
These are crazy, y'all.
Yeah.
Everything in this stuff from like, it's got rice bran, it's got pineapple juice, it's got alfalfa, it's got algae powder, carrots, bamboo, papaya, chlorella. I don't know what that is.
Chlorella. It's like a green.
Yeah.
Plant.
Parsley, bilberry, dandelion, ginkgo, green tea, astragalus,
Yeah.
Milk thistle.
That's very good for the liver.
It's got cinnamon bark, y'all. It's got Brussels sprouts, iconic alfalfa, stevia, lipoic acid.
Yep.
It's got grape seed. It's got flower pollen. It has chia seeds, beets, turnips, tomatoes, red clover, cilantro, dulse, shiitake mushroom, maitake mushroom,
which that's good for healing.
and broccoli. Oh, and kale. Broccoli and kale ended off.
Yep. Greens is good stuff. ISA has a whole line of different stuff like the ISA greens. They even have ISA detox drinks. They have bars. They have wafers when you're doing the ISA detox.
And she sells it and does all that.
Yeah, I still technically sell it. I never stopped selling it. You never lose your distributorship for that. I should put it up for those people who are interested. They are good shakes and it is a good program and you can lose weight with it. And it does give you energy and it does help. So if you can afford it, it honestly isn't a bad choice. But yeah, it is not cheap. It is like $120 a month or something like that if you wanted 4 weeks worth of shakes. But there's ways that you could also you know, maybe just get a canister of shakes, a box of the bars. and
Now, I
first
want to ask
work.
you, do you think it would be rude to bring up my thing that I got in the mail that I sent you? That they need to?
Oh, about the thing? No, I think because we already talked about that, that isn't actually a bad idea. Because I don't know, with this issue, I don't know if it's this particular branch or if this is how the organization runs as a whole, but I think it's an issue that we need to bring up. No, I don't think that's bad, actually.
So y'all know that we stayed at the Ronald McDonald House.
Right.
You know, they make sure that they make you sign a like paper that says that like they can call the hospital anytime and find out like the medical condition of your kid and like everything.
Basically like releases and all this extra mumbo jumbo.
Right. Okay. And we talked about like their rules, their kind of crazy rules.
Right. And how they were kind of a little oppressive when you are dealing with some of the worst times of your life and they're treating you. You have room checks. You have them, you have to do your own linens. You have to wash this or that. You can't eat in your room. You can't have a drink in your room. You have to wear shoes at all times. You know, there were just a lot of oppressive rules that I feel that, you know, honestly, I get why you want decorum and maybe some people would take advantage of it, but some of the things I think they could let go, because if you're supposed to clean up your room and do your linens and XYZ, why does it matter if you eat in your room if you clean it up? If there's, you know, products and, you know, brooms and other things available for you to clean up, what's the problem? As long as there's no trace of you when you leave these things, you see?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. If you're all adults and you're supposed to be cleaning up after yourselves, like why couldn't you just be allowed that one thing that would make you feel, you know, more home-like if you got to wash everything yourself in the linens and this and that and everything anyway.
Right.
Just saying.
Right. And they're pretty serious about this no food and drink in your room thing. Like not even a bottle of soda.
We had talked to a gentleman who had like hidden something in his bag for himself that they like found and like tried to confront him over.
Twice.
Yeah. Which I think is an invasion of privacy because, like I said, once again, going through the worst time in your life, and here they are looking through your bags for snacks, y'all.
While you're not there and you're at the hospital with your kid.
With your sick, potentially dying child while you are using the Ronald McDonald House, because they don't let just, you know, regular patients, you know, it's like critical and above, you know, and if you have some congenital issues, then yeah. But it's so they're worried about snacks. Let's just think about how petty that is right now. Of all the things to worry about, like I understand drugs or contraband or maybe, you know, even alcohol, okay, in your bag, but snacks and to even search your bag is a violation. Okay, even if you did have those things on your person, for them to search your bag, again, violation of trust.
Oh, but it's not though, because when you sign your little thing, they're very clear that they're going in your room when you're not there.
Right, but I still feel like
no, it tells you that they will search things.
Oh, I'm not saying that. I'm not denying that. But what I am saying is, why do they feel that they need to put that in there?
So they can search your things, because
Right.
it's very much like a halfway house.
Right. Right. It is so. And it's really sad that they treat you like that, because you'd think that you would have maybe a little bit more dignity and respect at a place like that. I don't know. That's just maybe my thought process on it, that you would have some type of thoughtfulness.
But the gentleman that we talked to, actually, he was, we met him because in order to have a cigarette, you have to like leave the property and go across the street. There's no benches, there's nowhere to sit down, there's no shelter, there's nothing. It's literally stand on the side of a highway and smoke a cigarette.
Wow. Dangerous.
So we went over there to do that, and there was another man over there smoking.
Right.
And my husband was like, "Hello, fellow delinquent."
Right.
And he was like, "I gotta have my smoke, man. I got to have my smoke." And we're
Right.
like,
I feel it though. Like it's the most stressful time in your life. Like you can't, like they're already taking vices like snacks. Okay.
right,
Already attacking vices like snacks.
right. And then so he was like, we don't know how to be trauma parents or whatever, or in that type of a situation, and you don't want to be rude and be like, what are you here for? But we're standing there, and my husband broke the ice with the, hello, fellow delinquent. And he was like, "So I'm here." Like he just came up with it without us asking him. And he's like, "I'm here because my daughter was born premature with some defects, and I've been here since her birth, and they didn't think she was going to live past 3 weeks, and we're at 5 months." So he has been at the Ronald McDonald House for 5 months with a dying child, still possibly. And he's like, the rules are crazy here. And he's like, they're real serious about them. He's like, "I've been caught now with food twice in my room." He's like, "I'm stupid and I forget to take it out of my room when I leave. And then they find it in there, or if they find wrappers to anything in there, or anything in your garbage that
It's
pertains
like
to."
maybe I just had it in my pocket. Honestly, how do they know you just didn't have it in your pocket and brought it home to dispose of, and you weren't even trying to like get away with anything? Because a lot of times I won't throw something away right away, and I'll put it in my pocket or my purse, and then I'll later throw away said wrapper because I don't want to throw it away at the time. I think they're putting too much thought into this. Like, oh, let me look through their trash cans and wrappers. And honestly, because I've done that before. Like, I've literally sat somewhere, ate something, put it in my pocket, and then come home later and then throw it, So I just find that honestly truly insane. Because what if I just had a whole bunch of trash and I emptied it from my purse into the trash can? Now I'm going to be confronted about these like 3-month-old candy wrappers and stuff,
Or like one of the things that I was doing, and I didn't even realize that I was doing it, but they gave you like a diaper bag at the Ronald McDonald's House that had like a bunch of stuff in it. And that sounds dumb, but it was like super convenient, y'all. And I really did appreciate this diaper bag. Like, never in my life did I think I needed or wanted a diaper bag ever again, ever since having children that needed diaper bags, right?
Right.
But listen, when you in the hospital and you going back and forth and you doing stuff and you running all around, that diaper bag, super convenient.
Right.
Okay. And they give you a diaper bag, and it's got all this kind of like little stuff in it. It's got like a little word puzzle search thing for you. It had a coloring thing, like adult coloring thing with like the pencils in it for you to like sit and color like the adult kind of like unstressed kind of coloring. It had like toothbrushes and toothpaste and shampoo and conditioner and um just some little things like that, but and it had the coffee mugs. The coffee mugs were super nice, but it's also super tricky because you're going to give me these super nice coffee mugs that were like, they're nice and big and they've got the lids and they were like cute and everything. And you gave me a set of 3 of these, which was super cool because there were 3 of us adults at the hospital. So that was going to be great, but then I'm not even allowed to have it in my room with liquid. So why'd you give it to me, you schmucks?
Right. Womp womp. You know what I mean? Like, what is that? They mean well, but then it doesn't translate well. Because if
Right.
you look it up on 211, right? Colorado 211. And that's what people always tell you when you get in trouble. Oh, yeah, go to 211. So you go to 211 and it says free for families. Okay. Southern Colorado, Ronald McDonald House, free for families. No cost lodging for hospital stays for critical patients in the hospital. Okay.
Now, my son was absolutely in critical condition,
Mm-hmm.
and we were at the hospital, and we were more than 2 hours from where we live,
Yep.
and we had nothing. We were in pajamas.
Right.
Pajamas, y'all. We were in pajamas in Colorado Springs, Colorado, in a hospital, trying to be like, but we cool.
Right. And it was that cool because it was cold. Okay.
It was so cold. It was so cold. And we were those people, okay? And we did need help. And the staff set us up at the hospital with the Ronald McDonald House because, you know, just like Scarlett just read, it's free lodging, which is exactly what our women at the trauma center in the children's hospital in Colorado Springs, they told us, you know, like, we're setting you guys up at the Ronald McDonald's house because it's not going to cost you anything.
Right.
Now,
This is
what
what
else?
they say. This is what they say, everybody.
Right. And what else does it say?
Except free cost, no charge. Okay. So when you go to like Colorado 211, it says free of cost.
Right.
Okay.
Now, we're going to clarify, y'all. It is not. It is $20 a night. Now, that's not much. However, when you're in Colorado Springs with no money, no anything on you, because you were not prepared to be going to Colorado Springs, you're in your pajamas, $20 is asking for a whole lot right now.
Right.
My son just got done being bagged for over 9 hours and is now sitting over there on a breathing machine, not conscious at all. I'm trying to figure out how I'm even just doing anything to like take care of myself in any way. You know, we have to eat. We have to what? Okay.
And they try to say even on the website, they have to live 20 more miles away and have to be related to the child receiving medical treatment, 0 to 21 years of age, or an expectant mother experiencing a high-risk pregnancy. Now, they say you may stay as long as your child is there. We encourage families to make a $20 a night donation. Now, encourage is an understatement. They say, however, if a donation can't be made, families can still use the services. Well, they can say that, but that's not how they treat you when they're there.
No, it's not. It's not how they treat you while you're there at all. when he went to check out, they asked him for the,
Donation. It was the night before you were supposed to.
rent, room rent.
Yeah.
Now, when we go to check out, we have to drive home now from the Springs with this child that, now some of y'all will have seen it, but most of y'all will not
We're gonna
have.
start trying to add updates onto the website so people can stay updated.
I've been on people so that everybody knows I've been trying to get people to do this now for a while. I know everybody's asking me. I'm sorry, I have been asking my people, which is Scarlett. I'm sorry, Scarlett, I have to throw you under the bus on this, which is Scarlett and Mel. And they have been super busy and they haven't gotten to corroborate
Yeah.
with it. But they're working on it. So as soon as they can, it will start happening, guys.
Yeah. That way we can open up a little area for that.
And they're not going to be douches and just start putting the new updates. They will go pull all the old updates from Facebook for you all
In the beginning, yeah.
from the beginning.
And
And
then you'll be caught up and then you'll have continuing updates so you won't have to worry.
right. So his whole story is going to be there. Just give it a minute.
Yeah. And
Now, upon leaving the hospital, okay, so this is our discharge papers, guys. And so, upon leaving the hospital, they give me this, which is the list of everything wrong with my kid as I'm taking him home, right? That
Right.
minute, I'm taking him home. Now, this is not what was all wrong with him when they got a hold of him, but this is what I've got to worry about now that he's going home. So here I am leaving. I have a 3-hour drive with a child who has a grade 4 liver laceration, a right lung contusion laceration, hemorrhage, and small right phenothorax, right rib fractures 4 through 6, complex facial abrasions and lacerations, left ear abrasion and lacerations, tooth fractures 7, 8, and 9, and right scapula fracture.
Right.
And I have all this stuff that they have on here that I have to do for him. And you go to check out and they're like, do you have your room rent? Now,
Yeah.
I've been there, we've been there for it was 5 days, but we checked out on the 5th day, so we didn't get charged for that.
Right.
Okay. But that's only because we told them on the 4th that we might be checking out the 4th night, because we almost did leave the 4th night and didn't need the room. So they were already on alert that we may not be there. So that's why we didn't get charged for the 5th day. Now we go to check out. We've been there for 5 days. We started off in our pajamas. We have no money. All of our money is gone. Like what we had in our pockets from payday on Friday is gone. Because let me tell you, feeding yourself 3 meals at the hospital every day, 2 people, you're dropping hundreds. There's no cheap eating. And everybody's like, go to the cafeteria. The cafeteria is great. Cafeteria gives you free food. No, ma'am. No, sir.
No, like you could maybe get a TV dinner for like $3 or $4, but everybody's got to get a TV dinner for $3 or $4. So then it's like $15 for everybody to get a TV dinner, and then you could heat that up in the microwave, or you could probably spend $8 if you go through the line and actually get food, and then everybody's spending $8. So that's $25 for, let's just say, breakfast, and then, lunch, and then dinner. So yeah, it's like $100 a day.
Yeah.
Even if you're just trying to get something small.
And as far as going and getting a TV dinner, you have to leave the hospital to do that.
They didn't have that at our hospitals. They have at least vending machines that you can buy one out of that you can.
Oh, the vending machines at our hospital only take credit cards.
Wow. No cash, huh? That's rough.
Gosh.
That's
Nope.
rough, dude. They need to quit that. There needs to be multiple options. There needs to be a swipe and cash option. 'Cause that's just not.
And our vending machines had nothing like TV dinners. Our vending
Ours
machine,
do here. Like they have like at least like some lean cuisine type things, and then you get like a hot pocket or some ramen noodles.
no man. Ours were these like healthy machines, and they had these salads in there that were like all wilted and looking like, ugh.
Right. No one wants that.
And like those turkey wraps and like all this health food stuff.
They need to have something else. And I get you want to have people healthy at the hospital, but at the same time, like you said, who has all this money? And they should be given, when you're at a children's hospital, they should be giving the parents vouchers and or ordering them box lunch from the commissary with their kids. Period.
Honestly, we were never offered any food by the hospital staff.
That's crap. Even ER should have offered you a little box meal. They have that type of stuff, and they should have offered that to you. They do have options like that. My parents have gotten fed before in the hospital when I've been sick. Mr. Tyre has gotten fed in the hospital before when I've been sick. Even when I had my kids, they fed Mr. Tyre. Like that's ridiculous, honestly. Like that's not even right. They need to start doing that. That needs something that needs to change. That's why I think that we needed to bring this up too, because I just think that it's a big issue that needs to change. Is people don't think about that, but how do you change what your normal pattern is when you're away from home and you don't necessarily, that's not something even insurance would cover. So how do you come up with money for that?
Right. See, and we had, luckily for us, and I do say luckily because, it happened on a Saturday and we just got paid on Friday. So
Right.
we did have some money to go down there, but we didn't have a lot. And that was our money for our life through the week. Like that was supposed to be at home doing propane and groceries and hay and getting the dough stuff ready for the doughs to come and or the kids to come and stuff like this that we had to do. But anyways, you find yourself and we tried to find all the cheaper ways to eat and stuff. But leaving the hospital really wasn't an option because we didn't even have our own vehicle up there for like the first 2 days. And then we did have our own vehicle up there. But we have a big, huge diesel truck. Like that's what hubby's truck got brought up there. And it's not the same truck that backed over David. This is the other truck, and it's got like a big cab to it, and it's got the long bed, so it's super huge. And like trying to navigate that thing around in the city is a real pain in the ass. It is. And then to leave the hospital, you got to leave David, that's not happening. David was very like, no, you're not leaving. Jason and I left the very first night. The very first night we left and we went to get sleep. but we hadn't slept for so long, and that was the Ronald McDonald House, and that was like all the crazy rules, and couldn't get anything to eat, and couldn't get anything to drink,
And
and you're
everybody's like, oh yeah, go to Ronald McDonald House. They're gonna have meals and it's gonna be great. And they're gonna have this and that for you. And they usually have help and gas cards and food cards. And there was no real support. And I mean, I don't know if that's because the local area doesn't donate and so that doesn't translate, but I've heard other experiences at other Ronald McDonald houses that were not like this. But I think that that needs to be addressed.
you know, they do have that we were told that they have like breakfast and lunch boxes that you can grab out of the fridge. But they're like they're small, and they're not like really a breakfast and a lunch. They're more like a little snack. And again, it's breakfast and lunch, and they're in to go boxes, and a lot of times like the lunch stuff is like stuff that was left over from the dinner. They do have a dinner, but it is served at a certain time, and then after that it's cleaned up, it's put away, and dinner's over. Now they do tell you that there's an entire kitchen there, and that you can pretty much help yourself to whatever is labeled on the stuff, and you can make something or whatever. But then, you know, it's this kitchen that's not yours, that is right out in the open, and all these people are watching everything that you do, and you're already on stress level. The last thing you want to do is go into a kitchen and make yourself something and then do all the dishes and clean up. But we did go, and then, you know, and we didn't know that that was the deal when we went. Like that we weren't going to be able to like get something to eat over there when we went. I mean, like I said, we could have, but we were so worn down, we were so tired, we were so emotionally exhausted as well as physically exhausted that honest to God, guys, and whatever, you can think of me whatever you want. But when we walked in and I realized that I couldn't have anything to eat or drink in my room, because the plan was that he was going to take me over, he was going to drop me off, and then he was going to go, I was going to take a shower that was very needed and change clothes that were given to us by a church that picked us up while we were down there. And I was going to take a shower. And while I was showering, he was going to go to like the closest wherever, Arby's, Burger King, McDonald's, Taco Bell, didn't matter, and get us some food and come back. And we were going to eat. And we were going to watch something until we passed out in each other's arms, pretty much, and got up and went and faced our son still dying. When we went over there and I realized that plan could not happen, he could still go get us something to eat, but we were going to have to go then and sit in the dining room of the entire house, sit in the dining room and eat in front of anybody and everybody walking by. There's no private talking. And hubby and I are very used to, you know, we both work and we both come home usually on the homestead, and we have our chores and our things that we do and check in to make sure that the boys have done what they were supposed to do. And that life is running smoothly. And when we sit down and eat dinner is when we get to talk. Like, that's when we're finally like, okay, day's finally coming to that end where we can discuss, how was your day? How are you feeling? Like, what's been going on? And a lot of times we do that like on the couch and we're like together, close, snuggling, eating our dinner. Um, and that's all you want is a little bit of normalcy. And you can't do that sitting out in the dining room that you have to be fully dressed, by the way, because you can't go out there in your pajamas. That's not allowed. Okay.
Well, what did they say to you when you had no clothes? Did they try to shame you?
Oh no, no, they didn't say anything then, but it does, I had my coat on.
Right.
So I don't think they really noticed that I was just wearing pajamas. And my pajamas don't always look like pajamas either, because like the pajamas that I had on up there kind of look like those leggings, and they're like a funky print. And then I have the shirt that matches, that's like llama drama sleep time or something. It says on it with a big llama, and the shirt matches the pants. So they may not have even realized that it was pajamas, but it was pajamas. And it wasn't just pajamas, it was legging pajamas with a freaking t-shirt, y'all.
Right.
Okay. So, who wants to sit at a dining room table? You can't even be in pajamas, really. You know what I mean? You can't be comfortable. You just have to, no, whole lot of no. And actually, he wasn't going to go do it. The church people were going to go get us something to eat because we didn't have our car.
Right.
And the church people still ended up bringing me fries. And they like wrapped them up inside of like a Target bag and put it inside of another Target bag in between stuff, and didn't even really tell my hubby. They were just like, we did sneak something in the bag for the wife.
Mm-hmm.
And hubby walked through the door and the lady was like, there's no food or drink in the room, right?
Mm.
And so hubby like starts looking through the bag, and he sees the fries, and she just looks at him and she's like, seriously, no food or drink. So he like has to go over and set the fries down on the dining room table and come get me in the room and tell me that I have fries.
Wow.
And I had to go out there and be all awkward. And I only ended up eating like maybe 3 or 4 fries because it was awkward.
Right.
And it made me feel awkward and I didn't like it. And then, I took my shower, I crawled into bed, and I just snuggled up with hubby, and we turned on some mindless TV until we passed out.
Right.
But anyways, the whole experience was a little awkward. And so you go through all this, you've spent all your money, and now you're looking at a 3-hour ride home with this kid, and they're like, do you have your room rent?
Right.
Now it's $80. $80 is what we owe for room rent because they charge us for 4 days.
Right.
Now, for a place to stay,
Not bad.
that's
No.
a place to stay with all the rules.
Right.
Like, if you got caught with a lighter or matches, you could get kicked out.
Right. And it's just like, really? Like, I get, like I said, having decorum, but these rules seem depressive for healing and conduciveness and just allowing people to, come freely and go and, feel a part of their child's healing when they have to make all of these rules to where you can't even relax, you can't even enjoy your time. There's nothing, they don't allow you to be a family really. They just make all these rules for then you to not have comfort in the situation. So, I just felt like it was one of those situations that they could have done it a little better. There could have been a way to include um, the mindfulness of parents in there a little bit more.
And not, again, and not to be ungrateful, because we're grateful that we had the room, but at the same time, now you're like room rent, and we're like, oh shit, we had kind of forgotten about that in the midst of everything because it's Ronald McDonald's house. And the one thing that always sticks in my mind is I always put money in that little Ronald McDonald thing outside of the McDonald's window, and I do that because of families like myself who need to stay there and they don't have nothing, like myself who doesn't have no money to pay for nothing. And now I got to give you $80. Crap. Okay, I do have it, but okay, you want it? I'm giving it to you. But that was my $80 to get home. That was like my diesel money for the truck.
They don't think that, you know what I mean? And they weren't like, oh, if you can't pay, it's okay, just let us know. It wasn't like they ever gave you that option.
No, because he waited for that option and he didn't get it.
That's what I mean. And I wish that they would have just been a little bit more helpful.
And he said he told him, he was like, oh, I totally even forgot how much it was. And they were like, it's $20 a night. And he pulled out his money and he said he stood there holding, because, I'm at the hospital with David. He went to check out because it should have been just a smooth little thing.
Right.
So, he said he pulled out the money and he was holding it and he was like, I have exactly 100 to get home. And she's like, and your total for room rent is 80, which still leaves you 20. Yay.
Right. Which is nothing to get home 3 hours. So.
And so, yeah. So then he paid and whatever. And he came back and he told me about that. And I was a little perturbed because I was like, you should have been like, listen, I'm sorry. We're going to have to owe you.
Right. I don't have it. Like, we really don't have it. Honestly, truly, we didn't. I mean, and they say no family will be turned away and all this other stuff, but they, like I said, they don't make you feel like you have an option either. So
Right.
They need to change that.
Then we get this letter from them, y'all. Okay. We are grateful for you and your belief in this most important work. Your care and kindness, coupled with your generous support, helps Ronald McDonald House Charities of Southern Colorado keep families close when they need it most. We exist for the simple yet poignant fact: critically ill children and their families cope better when they are together. And coping plays a vital role in healing. It's been said that a family with a sick child is a sick family. While the medical teams are caring for the critically ill child, our charity is caring and supporting the family needs. The families we support share many of the same characteristics: courage, perseverance, hope, and the great need to be together during a time of unforeseen medical crisis. Okay.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Your generous donation of $80 deepens the support to our families during their most difficult times. Thank you for choosing to support the families who are staying in the new Ronald McDonald House and are utilizing the Ronald McDonald Family Room located inside your local hospital. Together, these cornerstone programs provide care and resources for more than 4,000 children and their families annually. On behalf of our staff, volunteers, board of directors, and most importantly, the many children and families who we serve, we are grateful. Thank you for your part in helping to keep families close. With great appreciation, Beth, Ronald McDonald House Charities of Southern Colorado Incorporation.
Like, does that sound like a letter that should go to a family, honestly, that will utilize the services? That sounds like a donor letter that you would send to like anybody generically. If I even just wrote a check to Southern Colorado Ronald McDonald House, and that's what I would get. Where is the I hope your family is on the road to healing? Like, it's not even like a generic I hope your kid gets better letter, and I hope that because you are no longer staying at the Ronald McDonald House means that you don't need our services. What if somebody's kid died? Would they still send them that letter?
This sounds like I just rolled in off the street and handed them $80.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't sound like, you know what I mean? Like, I just feel like this is so insensitive. Like, where is anything about, oh, I thank you for staying. I hope your child's better. I hope, it's such a generic letter that I'm having a hard time with it.
And you came with the receipt.
Right. And then it says, we didn't provide any goods or services, which you did provide services.
Okay, the receipt says that we paid $80 on February 18th of 2020, cash for room rent. And then underneath it says, no goods or services were provided by the organization in return for their contribution. Thank you.
But room rent is services, y'all, or goods. Okay. So, like, tripping. I just have a really hard time with that. I don't know. I just felt it was very impersonal.
They, for all their like, you have to check in daily for wellness and all this stuff that they do, for them to send me this letter after my son has gotten out of the hospital, like I just rolled in and gave them an $80 donation. Like I didn't stay at the house. If you got this letter in the mail, you would think I never stayed at that house. By me reading this to you, you would think I was never there.
Right. It just sounds like you're a donor.
Yes. Like I just rolled in off the street and was like, oh, I believe in you. Here's $80.
Right. Which some people I'm sure do, but this wasn't the case. So I just felt like how impersonal they were. It's just kind of a little sickening. I don't know. And they didn't, like I said, they never gave you an option to say, oh, well, if you can't afford it, don't pay or whatever. So that was never given as an actual option. Just saying.
Do we have any chat comments?
I will go check.
Bonnie is out there in the listening world, I hope. If not, I want to send a big thank you to you, Bonnie. Just thank you. Thank you all around. We were able to get groceries today with what the network was able to send to me, which I am under the understanding that that was your contribution, and I thank you very much.
Yes, it was. So there's just, I don't see any comments right now. I'm gonna go check the network page, see what we got. Yeah, I mean, it's not that no one is, ungrateful for the experience, but I just think it was very impersonal for them, like you said, to be so, in tune with your wellness and doing wellness checks and checking in with you while you're there to just kind of cut you off and then that's it. I just think like, there could have been a nicer way to send a letter that's just, wishing you well. And there should have been an option where they said if you can't afford it to not pay, and they didn't do that either. Other than that, and besides the room checks and treating you like you're in prison, besides that, yes, it was a place to stay. But honestly, rooms in the Springs weren't much more than that, to be fair. Like, so it's one of those situations where they're going to charge $20 a night, but a standard hotel room was 40. And they have all these rules and they don't even check in with you afterwards to even make sure your mental health is okay, or even send a letter to say, I hope that, you're doing well, or anything. It's just a personalized donor letter. I just thought that was a little crass.
Yeah. Yeah. I felt a little like, what the,
Yeah. Like, what is that? Like, not that they're supposed to be there to pick up all the pieces, but I would have just thought that they would have been a little bit more personalized.
yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I would have definitely thought that. So, I mean,
So, like I said, we're all done with the ortho and he never needs to see David again. There's his little thing.
right.
We only have to do only return if his symptoms worsen or fail to improve.
It's exciting. And it'll be good to see what, the dentists say and move on to that next step and start seeing what you can do about that.
I like showing the things so that people can see them because there's a lot of disbelief in David's story.
Right. This is what I've been hearing. And it's pretty sad that people would discount his testimony.
There's a lot of people who are like, there's no way that this is going, like this, and that there's no way that this kid, no, this is, and it's day by day tracked.
Yeah.
It's sad when we live in a world where people have to be concerned that I have like made this up.
Right. Isn't it sad? People always think, oh, like you can't Photoshop this, you can't fake this. Why would you make anything like that up? Like I know people are sick and lie about having cancer and this and that and blah blah blah. But you have the paperwork. There's no reason to lie about it. It's just sad that people would even think you would go to those lengths.
Mm-hmm.
Sad.
Yeah.
That's what it is, because everybody wants to discount something about everything.
Well, what it is they see that people are being generous and that people are sending us money. And it's like this jealous mode kicks in.
Yep. Right. And I get it. The time and before this, no one ever donated a dime to you ever. We always used to talk about this, Rod. We would have things that, probably really did need help funding that things never worked out with, and we always talked about, well, why is it never that, the things that we need, I wanted to send my son to special needs camp, but it's like $3,000 and we just really can't afford something like that every year to do, stuff like that. We always talked about that, but when it's the right time, the Lord will provide. And we can't be jealous of what other people end up receiving in their lives. It's, I think to be selfish, is to close the door for it ever happening to you, you know?
Yeah, definitely. And like that we live in a world where people do make those things up is ridiculous. And
Right.
then you go even further where people think that, I don't know, they think I'm lying, I guess, about his like healing, like how well, I guess, that he's healing. Like we hear it a lot, like there's no way that, he's only on going on day 16 of being home, which is only 16, 17, 18, 19, well, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 days from the accident, critical condition, full life support, flatlining.
Right. It's an amazing testimony. Like, I get why people don't want to believe it because it sounds crazy, but this is the situation and we're here.
Yeah. And you actually talked to him in the hospital.
Mm-hmm. I did. I did.
FaceTime. Starlet also spoke to me many times in the hospital on FaceTime, and I'm going to give myself away walking through the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah. That was cool. Not supposed to do that, but that was cool. It's a nice place inside. It's beautiful.
She would sit there for like 10 to 15 minutes while the guards at ER asked me all about. And yeah, I'm really offended by this letter from freaking Ronald McDonald House when the freaking ER emergency freaking guards even asked me how my son is.
Right. Yeah. They don't do any follow up like for families, for critical, situations where they couldn't even send a generic card. Like I said, get well soon or
Well,
feel better. You
let
know?
me tell you how the ER guards, because okay, when you go into anything in the children's thing,
Yeah,
you
and
have
especially at night, I'm sure you got to check in.
you have to give your ID,
Right.
and then they put you in a system, and then you get a sticker.
Right.
So any of the security can, like, you pop up that you're in the hospital.
Right.
And so when we went for his checkup, we popped up
Mm-hmm.
that we were there, and I got a little thingy on the screen from the security guard asking how David was.
Right.
And I'm like, he's good. He's doing really good.
Right.
Like, the security guard at the ER was sending me like messages on the hospital computer to ask me how my kid was. Ronald McDonald House that housed me for 4 days while my son was in the freaking hospital sends me a generic thank you for an $80 donation like I was never there.
Right. And was it really a donation when they kind of forced you to give it to them? Or was it a coerced fund? You know what I mean? I feel like it was like coercion of funds. They should ask people, are you financially able? And then especially knowing that, knowing your financial situation, that you didn't have insurance and all these other things, you'd think that they would just say, like, if you can't afford it, don't worry about it. That's the one thing they should be saying. If you can afford it, do what you can. If you can't, don't. And that's what they should be saying. That's the whole point of this, I guess if you want to call it a rant, but I think it's just kind of an exposure of what happens there and kind of the reality of. But I think that should be the one thing that they do is just make sure that that is said. So someone can say, you know what, I really can't afford this. I really can't. And I would like to donate, but at this time, I can't. I'll try to pay it forward in the future, but right now that's just not possible.
Yeah.
That's it. That's really the point of the story. You know, besides that, they maybe should think about, you know, letting some of their rules kind of scale back. That's the number one thing, because don't make people feel like they have to when they're already going through a stressful time, because they
Right.
may not truly have it, and you're making them feel like you have to. Because I know a lot of people even feel guilted at church to give up, you know, money, and even when you don't have it, you feel like, oh, we got. You know what I mean? So they shouldn't be doing that here. That should be the one place you should feel comfortable.
Right.
That's all. You know, it's a great idea. It's a great premise. I hope that more people donate to it and more private charities open like it, because it could be of great utilization. You know, there needs to be more meal trains at hospitals and things so parents can eat, especially at a children's hospital. It wouldn't be too hard to set up a local meal train where people come and make like casseroles and bring them into the hospital for parents to eat, and say, hey, all parents at the hospital come down to eat, you know, and people would, especially at a children's hospital. You can target a lot of the parents to eat that way. But that could be a way that, you know, people in the community can help each other. Just having a little potluck, you know, even if it was just once a week, that still would help a lot of the families staying there for a long-term basis to get one meal that wasn't, you know, you had to have to pay for another expense.
Yeah.
Could
Yeah.
help.
It was a little crazy.
Yeah, or at least a local church could say, hey, we're going to have a fellowship meal, you know, once a week, or take home box for hospital families, or just something. But I think there is a big gap there that, you know, I hope if people out there can get involved in, can try to hold the gap, you know.
Is for like me, we eat pretty healthy on the regular. Like, so unfortunately, when I get super stressed out, my comfort foods are like fried, fatty, not good for me shit.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie about that. I'm not even gonna try to lie about that. Like, I do like some fried things and I do fry some things, but we don't really do a whole lot of fried foods. And, we do a lot of pretty healthy meals. So, like, when I'm stressed, when life is like at its ultimate, which believe me, it was during this time for me, the only thing I'm wanting is like fries and a big fat burger. And here I was going down to the cafeteria and you're like, I want fries and a big fat burger. And they're like, yeah, so you can have this burger and these fries. And the fries are all droopy and gross and soggy. And the burger is like a frozen patty that you bought at Walmart on sale for $3 for a pack of like 10, because they're all freezer burnt kind of patty, or like the ones that come in big bags at Walmart that we get, and we always kick ourselves in the ass because they never plump up or do anything, and they're retarded and you shouldn't eat them because they're probably not real meat. Yeah. And then everything else was like health foods, like tons of healthy foods, which normally I'm down for, man. I am. But at that time in my life, health food was not what I wanted.
I understand. I totally get it. And so you guys tomorrow are going back to appointments, as I'm told.
Oh my gosh, yes. And tomorrow's going to be such a long day. His first appointment is at 10:40, and we have a 3-hour drive.
You better get to bed there, Missy, so you guys can get up and get going and, you know, have some good news to report.
The first appointment is at 10:40,
Okay.
and that is with um I forget Maxillofacial surgery dentist.
Yes. Yep. Those are the dentist people who help fix all that good stuff.
And then so that's at 10:40 in the morning. And then he's got one at 1, and that's for the liver.
Okay, that'll be good.
And then at 3:50. And that's with the ear, nose, and throat.
So you probably won't get out of there till like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and then won't be home till 8, 9 o'clock, maybe 10.
Maybe because he is gonna want to eat dinner.
Yep.
He's already like got the day planned in his little mind, and it breaks my heart a little bit because he's like, okay, so in the morning we're gonna stop in Salida and we're gonna go to McDonald's and I'm gonna get pancakes because they're soft and I can cut them small and I can eat them. And I can get the hash browns because I can cut them small and I can eat them. And then we don't have to like waste time or go in somewhere and it'll be fast. And then he's like, and then when we're done at the dentist, as long as my teeth feel okay, we're going over to Waffle House and we're having lunch.
I
And
love
then,
Waffle House. I don't blame him though. Waffle House is good. Tasty. Grits. Give me some grits and some of them pancakes.
so then he's like, and then at 3, he's like, and then when we're done with the last doctor poking and prodding all over me, you're gonna take me to Cracker Barrel so that I can eat nothing but mashed potatoes because my teeth are
Okay,
broken.
no, he's tripping a little bit because that ain't gonna happen. But I like his style. Okay, I'm with him, but you only gonna maybe get 2 out of 3 there, player. So you gonna have to choose.
Right? I'm like, do bro, you plan the whole day? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, well, do you have the money for this day?
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, I can see the Waffle House thing, but then you got to bring everybody out to eat too. So
Oh, it's only ever just me and David and hubby.
that's still 3 people.
Yeah.
Yeah, still 3 people who are all
Last time we last time we went out, we went to Olive Garden, but we went there because we had a gift card.
right,
Somebody sent us somebody gave us an Olive Garden gift card, like we have one around here or something.
right. But there is one in the spring, so yay!
Right. So and then the church up there we have gift cards for Chick-fil-A.
That's tasty. They just
So
got like mac and cheese that everybody really likes, I guess.
so that's probably where we're going for lunch because we have gift cards there.
Ooh, Chick-fil-A is good though. They got good mac and cheese. They got good lemonade. They got good
Um,
chicken noodle soup. That would be good for them. You'll probably like that. They have really good chicken noodle soup.
I like this too. Sweet the most.
and then so we did go to Olive Garden, but he still got like almost everything for free because the waiter set us down and he was like, so what's the occasion?
Yeah, they always ask you that at Olive Garden. What are you here for? They do that.
Yeah. So he's like, well, what's the occasion that's brought you out today? And David being David, he's like, got run over by a truck, just cleared one of my doctors, never have to come back.
Right. He's so nonchalant. People are like, what? Excuse me? What did you just say, little boy?
And so then, the waiter kind of looks at me and I was like, oh, yeah, we just cleared his first checkup. He's been home for 14 days and it's been a total of 20, I think it's 19 days since his accident. He was in the hospital, ICU, total life support, surgeries.
Right.
And he just kind of stood there staring and didn't know what to say. And then David's like, bet you never heard that before.
He's so irritating in a way about it. I'm serious. He really is. Like, there is nothing. No, we have not heard that before. Thanks.
Yeah, and he did too. He was like, nope. I've never heard that before. And then he like got our drink order and disappeared. And then he came back. And when he came back, there was like this other worker with him who like sits down next to David and is like, I just had to come over and meet the man and tell you that I am also a paramedic. I only work over here as like a part-time thing for extra money. And he's like, and I hear that you got run over by a truck. And it wasn't that long ago. And I was like, nope. And he's like, you were on full life support. And I was like, yep. And he's like, do you mind me asking what his injuries were? And I gave him his list and his jaw dropped. And he looked at me, he was like, so you're my hero.
Right.
And he's like, I have had so many calls, so similar.
And they don't turn out that way.
Yeah, he said accidental parents backing over their kids as they're backing out of their driveways. Even here in the city, it happens a lot.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they just happened at a school in the Springs recently.
Yeah. And he's like, and most of the calls do not turn out like this.
No, they're actually fatalities, honestly. And there's been a lot of kids run over lately, I've been seeing in the news.
Yeah. And he was like, most of the calls don't turn out like this, let alone you're telling me that you're out of the hospital right now.
Right.
He's like, I can't believe that. Like, you're my hero, dude. And then when they brought us our bill, none of David's stuff was on it.
Right.
And we looked, and like there were like 6 or 7 people that came over to the table, and they were like, no, he doesn't pay here.
Right. That was cool.
And then they gave him cheesecake to take home.
That was cool. They got good cheesecake. I love Olive Garden soup. Soup, breadsticks, and salad. I could eat that forever.
Yeah. So I broke his heart a little bit because I told him, I was like, listen, I'm like, we have gift cards to Chick-fil-A, and that's probably where we're going for lunch. And he was like, oh, fine. And then I was like, and we do still have another gift card for like another place to eat that we haven't gone, because it's like a pizza place. And David did pizza that first night in the hospital, but he hasn't repeated that since.
No, I think he probably had a little bit of the meds left in him and, living his best life at that moment. Because, yeah, but eventually he'll get back to that,
Well, you know what? Listen. Okay, so we went.
Pizza places have like a cauliflower crust pizza that's softer. That could work too. Or one of these keto pizzas with no crust.
Up there on Friday, and he got the stitches out of shoulder and his hand.
Right.
And then we came home, and then Saturday he got up super duper freaking early and went with the gypsy mechanic and the girls to the girls wrestling tournament.
Okay, great.
Now he did, tell me he wanted to go. I figured, you know what? They said give him low-key activities for himself to do. It's pretty low-key to sit in the stands and watch. So I let him go, and he didn't want me to go with. He wanted to just go. So he did. And then they came home. They got home around like 2 because they had to go pretty far for the tournament. And they got home around 2. And then he was here for like an hour. And then he was like, but I want to go with the gypsy mechanic over to see Birdo. And so he went, and then he came back super late. He came back at like 9:30. But then he took some arnica, and took some arnica, and then asked me if I would make him his kratom shake for the night. But then said he wasn't ready for it, and he'd come tell me when he was. So I finished up what I was doing, went to go make his kratom shake, got everything out, the ice cream and the milk and the kratom, getting everything ready. And then I go through the room to go to the bathroom, and he's passed out.
Oh, wow.
So I put everything away. He went to bed last night with no kratom.
Good for you. Wow. After a full day out. Good. And he said he wasn't in that much pain today either. So that's a good sign.
And then he got up and he slept in. He slept till 11 or 12 today.
Good for him.
And then he got up and he ate. And then he complained his ribs were a little sore.
Right.
So he took a little arnica, and then he went out again. He wanted to go with the gypsy mechanic back over to see Bert and Ernie. And he did that. And I don't know what time he got home, because again, he didn't want me to go. He wanted to go. He said that he liked it. It was like being like normal again. And I was giving him that freedom because, there's a mommy bird there that I know very well. And, I'm like,
watch. Wow.
Yeah. And she's like, I'd be on this.
Right.
She's like, I'd be on this like a freaking bald eagle right now. And so I'm like, okay. And she's like, they're just gonna go, they're gonna sit, they're gonna watch a movie. I put the television in Bert and Ernie room so that they could, be in there and chill and do, 12-year-old boy crap. So we went to town and got groceries that were needed really. And we did that, which thank you, Scarlett, for transferring money for us today so that we could do that. And make sure that we get to the Springs tomorrow, because it was going to be one or the other, either buy groceries or get to the Springs. So now we got to do both. Yay. And so we went grocery shopping, and then we got home from grocery shopping, and he was home, and he was in a really bad mood. And he was like in the chair, and he had the blanket all over him, and he was crying. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? And he's like, I'm hurting so bad. And I'm like, did you take arnica? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, okay, so you want a kratom? Do you want a kratom shake? And he's like, yes. So I made him his kratom shake. I gave him his kratom shake. He's crawling into bed with his kratom shake, because that's what he does. He crawls into bed and he starts a movie, drinks his kratom shake while he's watching it, snacks on something, and passes out.
Right.
Then in the bed, and I can shut everything off.
Right.
Go from there. So he goes in to do the kratom shake and all, and he's still not asleep yet. He's still roaming around. even though we got to get up early and go do this tomorrow. But he's still rolling around. And he tells me then, are you ready for this stuff? Because you don't even know this yet.
Yes, I am.
He tells me he fell. Today while he was out. And this is when he's in more pain. Then he wants to know why mom wants to be all psycho and not let him go anywhere or do anything.
Well, yeah, because here's the deal. And I'm having a little bit of pain right now because I've been having this kidney thing going on, and that's why I didn't do the show on Friday, because I feel like I'm getting kidney stones and I'm just really uncomfortable in life. And they have not passed yet, and it's just a very awful thing. And I get them not often, but I get them often enough to be an issue. And a few people were, just talking in chat and these things. But it's been really interesting because he doesn't think that you're going to get after him, but it's like, he's got to realize too, when he does a little bit too much, it's all about boundaries and balance, right?
Yep.
That's what you've got to learn in something like this. You can't just run back into healing, even if your body has miraculous results. It's something that you have to get into slowly and just learn. And when you're young too, you in your mind you feel like nothing's wrong with you and you're invincible, and so you're going to go with things, think you feel better when you really don't, right? And
yeah, he's totally like, for a minute was like, I'm healed. No, I'm not.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's hard for him to understand that he's not quite healed.
Well, you of all people, Scarlett, know how often I was able to keep this child inside.
Oh, yes. He's always out going somewhere with someone, staying somewhere. He wasn't even at home half the time, let's be honest.
No. He's over mechanicking. He's cutting firewood. He's, doing things. He's outside. He's a farm kid. He wants to be outside. He wants to have his hands in the dirt and the oil and the grease. It's his jam.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't, and that's what every little boy likes, just having their own freedom, riding their bike, enjoying the outdoors. You do live in a beautiful area with the mountains and, the valley around you, and it's just, expansive sky, and it is a beautiful place. So I get why he wants to be outside every moment that he can get. But in the same point, he's got to realize too that, healing isn't instant. And we've been talking about this, that we hope that this doesn't make him feel like he's invincible, because his healing has been almost instant, and that's not normal for anybody. And he's not going to feel like that's not normal though.
Right.
And that's concerning.
And like I said, he was like, I tried to talk about going anywhere today, but he did not want to hear that. Like, he wanted to go. He had such a good day on Saturday, feeling normal. It was a piece of being normal again. Going to the wrestling tournament, seeing everybody, that was a little slice of, hashtag David style.
Right.
And so it made him feel so good that he's like, okay, I'm going to do it again today. And it's like, but Davey, buddy, it might be a little too much. And I think if he would have just been cool and done what he was supposed to do, but I know him and his buddy got all rowdy at some point and he ended up falling.
Right.
And then it was like good feeling gone. And then he's like crabbing and grouchy and he's not feeling good. But I mean, he took the kratom shake and now he's not in pain anymore, but now he's like running around.
Right.
And he's going to be like that now until I get ready to go to bed, because that is still one thing that's super, since all this has happened, he is mom. It's always mom.
Yeah. Which I
Like,
don't blame him. There was a lot of times that he was very independent and without you. So it doesn't surprise me that he does now turn to you and want your assistance.
he's always been a big mama's boy. You don't talk about his mama, you don't disrespect his mama, and he'll do anything for his mom.
Yeah.
And he really does feel that way. And I mean, he was on Dwayne's live with Dwayne the other night, and
We're gonna
Dwayne,
try to pull that audio for everybody and try to see what we can do with that. I'm just gonna get some juice to do my tincture real quick.
yeah, he went on Dwayne's live with Dwayne the other night, and Dwayne had said something about how selfless David was, because there have been some moments during this that really make you go, wow, this kid. And he's like, you're just so selfless. And he's like, and I don't see kids like that anymore. He's like, kids where I live are your age are running around with drugs and guns and knives and doing these things. And David just responded off the cuff and was just kind of like, yeah, that's because nobody's raising their kids right anymore. And he's like, and kids are all entitled. And Dwayne just kind of sat there staring in the camera for a minute, like, did a 12-year-old just say that? And David's like, I am the way I am because I have great parents. I'm very lucky. I have very good parents.
Yeah, he does have a good head on his shoulders. I can say that.
And Dwayne again was just kind of dumbfounded at him. And for any teenager to admit that they have good parents to begin with, but a teenager who just went through what David just went through, to turn around and be like, I have great parents. Like, that touches my soul.
It at least lets you know that what you're doing is right, and that you're doing right by him.
Yeah, and he feels I've done right by him, and that's what's important.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. When it comes down to it, it's how you feel you've been treated, right?
When you are about, because David, this year we now for every birthday from this point on, we have to say we're lucky enough he has another one.
Right.
David turns 13
right.
right around the corner in April.
Yeah.
So next month he turns 13. We're gonna make it, and we're having a huge celebration for this, because he almost didn't make it to this, guys. He really, really almost didn't make it.
It's true. And it's been by the grace of God and everybody's prayers and, just God's plan that he's still here with us, because there's no really good reason otherwise for it.
For sure. For sure.
Mm-hmm. That's why, right now, when we've been talking, and I know Ron's been talking about the coronavirus, I've been thinking about adding another weekday program to just kind of do updates and keep going with that. Because there's a lot of stuff going on. But we always have to trust in God's plan, right? And we always have to trust that it's the right time and He's doing it for the right reasons and for us to get the right lessons. And no matter what it is, we're supposed to go through it to better ourselves. We have to believe that. That's what faith is all about.
Right, right. And you know, he for a child turning 13 to be like, I have great parents. I'm like, wow, kid. Yeah, wow. And like I watch him and I watch how he's healing and I listen to everybody and wow, he's so miraculous, he's so brave, he's so strong. Um, he's got such a great testimony and I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of everything about him. I always have been. Um, but even more so now. And I've done something right. I created that.
Right.
I created and I've taught him everything he knows and he uses it. He uses it very well.
He does. He's got a good head on his shoulders. He never was really, I mean, a little bit, you know what I mean? Every kid has his flaws, but he was never really a selfish kid or anything like that. So I think that for him, it's easier to go through something like this because he knows. But I think the only thing that's been hard for him is the lack and restriction of movement. I think everything else mentally, he's done extremely well. Physically, obviously, he's done extremely well, but I think it's just like the mental boundaries of not being able to do things. And as those things start to become easier, as time goes on, I think, that type of anxiety will lessen.
Yeah. His biggest part right now.
I'm sure he wants to hit the ground running.
Well, that and let's just be honest. Okay. I love my son and he will never do wrong to me. But my son is a little vain.
Girl. He loves himself though. He loves him some him. And that's all you can say about that.
He does love himself very much. But I taught him to. I
Right.
taught him to love himself before he loves anybody else.
Right. And he does. But he really is like Mr. You're so vain. You probably think this song is about you. And it really is. And but I'm gonna sing it at the top of my lungs because I am so vain. And yeah, while I'm doing my hair.
Yeah. Yeah. Like
He lays
he's
it on thick. He does. And I mean that's a good thing though, because in this day and age when people don't feel enough self-worth and self-love, like he has so much, but it's extra, y'all. That's all we're trying to say. Like it's a good thing, but
oh yeah, yeah. Like he's very much like too hot, hot damn. Call the police and the fireman. Like that's his thing.
yeah,
I'm so pretty, I gotta kiss myself
right.
thing.
Yeah. So this has been hard for him because, this has altered, even kind of how he feels he looks like. So that's been a big issue too, I'm sure.
Yes. See, this is one of our biggest issues now that
Mm.
but we've also been very lucky because it looks like he's really not even a scholar.
No, it doesn't. It looks like it's really healing through the layers and all that. So it doesn't, I mean, maybe if you get real close as he gets older and you're like, okay, but I don't think it's gonna be something that people notice. That's
No.
probably gonna be the hardest part for him too, is as he gets older and people are gonna be like, you didn't get run over by a truck. That's a lie. That's a lie. There is no marks on you. That is a lie. Where are your marks? Franken what? Lies. Don't tell that lie, boy. Just wait.
Okay, so I took pictures every day.
Right.
One of the things that I'm hoping to be able to accomplish for him, and I'm hoping that I get donations that I can do it. I want to take my phone and I want to have all those pictures printed for him. And then I want to make him a scrapbook
Oh yeah.
of just
Maybe
his.
we can find one of those coupon codes because I get a lot of those for like those books where you can get like 50% off, like a photo book and like.
I want to make him a scrapbook of his accident. I saved some things to put in there.
Right.
This gets a little weird, but I even saved the clothes that they cut off of him to make the cover of it with those.
Right.
And I saved his collar and I saved his hospital bracelets.
Mm.
And then all the pictures, and I want to put them all into a scrapbook for him, his first real trauma accident thing, so that when he does tell his story when he's older, he has that.
Yeah, because nobody's gonna believe that with the lack of scars and problems right now. Okay, like they're already like, Mom, or did that happen? Mom, did that happen? Can you
Right.
confirm? Can we get a head nod? Can you confirm?
Right.
Like, so I get it. I get where they're coming from because it sounds fantastical, right? It sounds, nonsensical, but it really did happen. And I think that, on the
They're going so far as to say, like, I've kind of like made it up to be like this anti-vax holistic mega story. Like, I'm trying to get him on the news and stuff and do all this. And I'm like, no, I'm not. At all.
right. Oh no, Kathy. Kathy said she fell and she had an accident where she might have to make a police report and fell by the police station. Something must have, and it looks like an accident happened. So our prayers and thoughts go out to you, Kathy, to feel better.
Yes.
Right.
But yeah, I want to make that scrapbook for him. I don't feel
We
bad.
do know that, like Jesus did suffer, like she did say, we know he suffered, and that's what helps us get through this time. I think that's also something that David had brought up too, that, one thing that got him through is thinking about how, these things, how he could focus his mind on other things and pray and have answers outside of himself. I really do think that that helps center him and helps keep him into a place where he could be mentally fit, as well as also feel spiritually empowered. I think this was a big time for him in that too. The spiritual empowerment that I do believe he felt and that he took into his own hands, and that he had to go through his own near-death experience in his own words.
He says that when he's ready, he's going to come on and talk about it. He hasn't even really talked to me about it yet. He says little things here and there. He's like, he remembers dying.
Right.
He remembers both times. He remembers things in the helicopter that they said he wouldn't remember. He remembered the nurse that walked in to remove his facial sutures that was like, I'm sure you're not going to remember me. And he was like, oh, I remember you. And she's like, there's no way you remember me. You are on fentanyl. You do not remember me. He's like, oh, I remember you though. And he told her exactly what she did in surgery on his face. And she was just like, oh my God, you were asleep. And he's like, yeah, maybe not.
Yeah. When you think about that, it's amazing what he actually went through, remembers. You'd think the trauma would be, remove it from his mind, but it didn't. And
No, and
he
he
bears that whole situation, and he's been very strong mentally. He doesn't seem like he's having too many, there is some emotional, times, which is normal, I think. I think you're gonna have that for a long while to come.
well, he says he remembers dying, and he claims that he had a 3-year conversation with the angel Gabriel.
Right.
He's yet to tell me what that conversation was or anything like that, but he says, and then but he remembers it. He remembers everything, which is crazy because they said he wouldn't.
Yeah, they was supposed to be in a medically induced coma for 5 days.
Right. And he wasn't supposed to remember anything. And he even remembered the waking up and trying to pull his stuff out of his face. He remembered all of that. He heard us talking to him. I played music for him, and he totally remembers that.
Kathy said she had an OBE in 1985. She said she saw Jesus in 1985. And in 1998 during a spinal cord surgery.
Nobody is the heat on.
Pardon, Red, what'd you say?
Oh, nothing. It wasn't.
It wasn't that. Okay, yeah. And, I think it's amazing because, a lot of people have been through them. And that's one thing that does bring people together, especially on sites like, ours and others, is being able to talk about these testimonies that other people don't believe in. But this is his testimony, and this is what happened to him. And it's documented that he flatlined and was not living, and, that there were no signals. And, so, I mean, that's, we can say whatever we'd like to say, but I truly believe the people who have had OBEs, I believe in their testimony. I believe what happens to them. I believe that if they saw Jesus or God himself or angels or whomever it is, I do believe that when your body has the capacity or is in that realm to pass over, that you could have these encounters with the divine. Absolutely.
When they took David in at Children's,
Yep.
when they admitted him from the helicopter,
right,
to Children's, their list of what was wrong with him: abrasions of multiple sites, complicated lacerations of hand and right initial encounter, contusion of right lung, extensive tearing away of skin, fracture of multiple ribs, injury of finger, injury of right index finger, injury to ear, liver laceration grade 4 without an open wound into a cavity, motor vehicle collision victim, multiple bruises, open wounds of face, open wound shoulder and upper arm, pulmonary alveolar hemorrhage, and shoulder fracture.
Yeah, because this happened on, it was like the 8th?
The 9th.
The 9th?
Well, accident happened on the 8th, yes. But he didn't get to Children's till the
Till the
9th.
9th, right, of February. So I mean, you know, we're coming up pretty soon here on a month. Um, you know, of calendar days almost close, a little bit less because February.
Only 4 weeks.
Yeah. And so it's amazing to see where he's at and how far he's come in his healing, and the things that have happened have been miraculous day by day. The way he woke up right away, didn't need to be in a coma for 5 days, was only in it for 1.5, really, and wouldn't even stay in that. You know, he was fighting in there to stay alive and be around. And it's an amazing testimony of what the human body can go through when you want to live. And I personally, and I know Red does believe this too, when the Lord is in your life, because we've made it, you know, every time you guys, a lot of you guys haven't been with us for the last 5 years, but a lot of our shows have been biblical in nature. And we spent days researching these before we did the shows. And these kids got to hear, because they're at home being homeschooled, they got to hear a lot of what we were talking about and get to chime in on some of the biblical conversation or thought patterns or things that they thought. And so they've had a very deep um, knowledge of greater God and spirituality that, you know, most kids probably wouldn't get to hear. And so to see him use that in action is just a beautiful thing, because it shows true faith, I believe, you know, true faith at its real pure core,
The
without
minute
being jaded by all the worldly stuff, you know.
minute he got home, you know, we're gonna go over a couple things. So he couldn't wait to get home, to get on mom's medicines, and he told all the doctors that.
Right.
And we were very upfront with the doctors. They knew, at least on the holistic side of herbs and things, what our plan was.
Right.
And they have always been in 100% agreements with what I was choosing to use with David, the Kratom Arnica, the herbs and everything. We went over everything, the turmeric, the manuka honey, all of it.
Yeah.
So the bacitracin that we left the hospital with only 3 prescriptions.
Right.
This is how they were like, nope, you've got everything covered with the herbs and everything that you plan on doing when you get home. So we left with 3 prescriptions. That was the oxycodone and the bacitracin and the Tylenol. Now, we went over just now what he got admitted under, and then we went over earlier on when they discharged him 5 days. So this is what was wrong with him. He went in, he did 2 surgeries, and then 5 days, literally the 5th day later, it's 4 nights and 5 days, and he's leaving with the grade 4 liver laceration, right lung contusion, laceration, hemorrhage, and small right phenothorax, rib cage fractures 4 through 6, complex facial abrasions and lacerations, left ear abrasion, tooth fracture 7, 8, and 9, and right scapula fracture. And then, so when we came home, the oxy and the Tylenol made him very sick. He got sick to the stomach. So they were also giving him then a anti-nausea medication, which also was making him sick. And so that was problematic in the hospital as well. So the bacitracin we have replaced with manuka. The fentanyl that he started on got cut down to the oxycodone, and we replaced that then with the kratom.
Right.
We needed no anti-nausea medications once we got him off of the chemicals. And we have him on Arnica instead of Tylenol, and that's what replaced the medications. We've also been doing Seneca as a stool softener for him.
Yep.
Because the oxycodone kind of backed him up a little bit.
And so does kratom, to be honest. It does have the same effect in that
So
area.
we've been giving him a little Seneca. And we've also done an herbal pain tea that has a lot of stuff in it for pain as well as antibacterial and antifungal herbs, antiviral herbs. We've been doing comfrey soaks and comfrey wraps. Um,
I just
we-
saw a comfrey gel at the health food store that I found was interesting.
yeah. And then we've incorporated a lot of things into his diet to help fight off inflammation and infections of any kind. So we've incorporated a lot of like echinacea, golden seal, elderberry, vitamin C, parsley, turmeric, garlics, onion, oregano, protein shakes, greens. These all help with anti-inflammatory internal and keeping risk of infection through be it viral or bacterial.
Right. Because right now his immune system is fighting to, put his body back together. So the last thing that you would want is some type of illness, flu, the crud, whatever is going around, coronavirus, all that. You would not want any part of that to be happening. So I don't blame you for using something in that sense. On the drip, they had him on the drips in the hospital. They did have him on an antibiotic as well. But there are a lot of natural things that as well to use. I was telling my Stonebreaker tincture that I ended up getting. So I did get that. This has been helping me through my kidney stones this weekend. That's why I didn't do a show on Friday. I was literally dying during showtime, laying in the bed. This has been a lifesaver and at least has stopped the nephritis for the most part. I mean, it's still there and hopefully we'll get through this or somehow dissolve these, but I feel pretty confident about this. Red is always my go-to for herbs or when you're sick or when I'm sick, I do it for her. She's like, dude, what? My brain doesn't work, help, you know? So she went over this with me when I was super dying and she's like, where have you been? You disappeared. Are you still alive? What is going on? So I went and got this. This I highly recommend for anybody out there. It's working so far. I also feel some pain relief with this as well when I take it. It's got Chanca piedra herb, which is supposedly the stone breaker herb.
Yeah, that's supposed to be really, really good. I'm glad you got that.
Yes. And so far, so far, so good. It also has hydrangea root, celery seed, which we looked was a good function for kidneys and kidney stones and dissolving, and then burdock seed. And you just take a small, one squeeze of a bulb of this in a small cup. They say 8 ounces. I don't feel like you need 8 ounces. I drink a shot of water afterwards, so I feel like you get your 8 ounces that way. And a little bit of juice because it is alcohol based, so it's rough. It's a little rough. But so far, so good. We're going to stay on this for a few more days and see if we can.
Now, day 5, he's getting out of the hospital. We have discharge papers. We're going home. We get home and, the first thing that this kid does is look at his brother and say, I need you to go over to our house and I need you to get me some things. And Mike's like, what do you mean? And, David's like, I need you to do this for me. And he kicked us all out of the room. And Mike went back over to the farm and he came back and he had a bag and he says, Ma, I don't know if I'm allowed to give this to him or not. And I take this bag and it's got all these stones in it, my stones, obviously. And I'm like,
thief, is where all your stones have been going. Thief.
And I'm like, what are you doing with these? And he's like, these are all the stones David told me to bring over.
Eesh.
And I'm like, yeah, I guess take him to him. I want to know what he's doing. So I go in there and I was like, son, what's up? And he's
Right.
like, I'm doing a crystal grid around the bed, Mom.
Okay.
Okay. And then he like crystal gridded his whole self, himself. And I'm like taking a look at the stones that he picked, and I'm like, huh, this kid really pays attention.
Right.
He's got all the stones for bone mending and internal organs. He even picked the correct stone for his liver.
Right.
And then he put a crystal grid around, and then he was like, Mom, I need him to bring over your singing bowls because you're going to have to play those for me. He's been doing, David is a level 1 Reiki. So he can do self-healing. He's been doing that since the very beginning of the accident. I mean from the very beginning.
Oh, I know
Um,
he was. I know he was because the last time he had hurt himself, he was using it too. So it wasn't like he didn't know how to already use it at that.
oh, he was when Dad got him inside and got him on the couch so that we could actually see him in the light. Um, he was already sitting like this on himself, and he was, to most people they would have thought that he was out of it and didn't know what he was doing, but he was humming, and he was humming a vibe, a very specific tone, and it's a healing tone for him. And he was doing his, um, and to anybody else who doesn't know my son, they would have thought he was just sitting there going, but he was oming. And this is a calm, this is a heal. And he was already doing that from the moment that he was set down on the couch. So he was already doing it as my husband was carrying him into the house. And he did that the whole way to the hospital. And he would grab my hands and put them where his liver was. And he kept telling me that it only hurt when I wasn't touching him. Or it only hurt, yeah, when I wasn't touching him. And so he started the Reiki self heal immediately. Then, as soon as we got home, he set himself up a crystal grid. He started his self healings, and he asked me for, oh, and that was something else he asked for right away. He asked for that on the couch. He said, Mom, I need Kundalini right now. You need to give it to me in my spine right now. And I gave him the Kundalini healing treatment. And so he asked for that usually about every 2 to 3 days now. He was making me give it to him all the time in the hospital, constantly. And he didn't want me to do traditional Reiki with the universal life force energy because he was doing that for himself.
Right.
He wanted that healing fire earth energy, and he knew it. And he was constantly making me run in on him in the hospital. And then at home now, he has me do it every 2 or 3 days. He makes me do the Tibetan singing bowls for him. He's only made me do them once. But I know it's coming again because he was just setting stuff up for it the other day. And so, I mean, he has taken and ran with the things that he's learned from me.
That's what I mean. And so that's what's been amazing to see, that he's actually is listening. Oh, and for Kathy, it's called Stone Breaker. She was asking what that was called. She's used a lot of oils, and so have I on my kidneys, and they're always hurting and spasming and nephritis. It's called Stone Breaker by Herb Farm. I wish my light was better. There we go. You can kind of cut it out, and then you can see it better. Stone Breaker by Herb Farm. This label is pretty recognizable in any herbal store. It's a common brand of tincture. You can find lots of different tinctures. They had like a dandelion root one, which is also a good choice. You could use that with this. I just thought this was a good one by itself. And Ron is in the chat on YouTube. So say hello to Ron.
Hi, Ron.
So
Always love it when Ron makes it.
yeah, it's always a good show with Ron. Ron's been feeling a little under the weather lately. I know he was on, I believe, tonight. So hopefully he's back on the mend.
Some of them hot herbs, Ron. Hot herbs.
Hot
Don't
herb.
be messing around right now. Hot herbs. When I say hot, I mean get some spicy up in you. I'm talking get some jalapenos, get some horseradish, get some osha root.
Ooh, yeah, Osha root, y'all. So I found a commercially found Osha root syrup. Okay. So everybody should try to go out and find commercial Osha root syrup as well. So it's called Rocky Mountain Osha root throat syrup. Okay. It's by Herbs Etc. Okay. Herbal formula, Rocky Mountain Osha root throat syrup, professional strength. Okay. It's got Osha in an herbal base of white pine bark, black cherry bark, spikenard, balsam poplar, and bloodroot by Herbs Etc. in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Formulated by Daniel Gagnon, medical herbalist. Osha root. Great stuff. Osha root throat syrup. So for those who can't get Osha root like Red out there in the Rocky Mountains, this would probably be your commercially found, because I found it here in Minnesota. It's a 4-ounce bottle. They do sell a 2-ounce bottle. So I feel like it's going to be some good stuff. You know, you don't need very much. You only need, 2 teaspoons every 3 to 4 hours.
I say them hot herbs, Ron. Cayenne, cinnamon, turmeric, oregano.
Yep. Garlic.
Herb. Ginger is a hot herb. All of them are very good things, hot herbs. That's what you need. Elderberry is good. Listen, elderberry is great, but you need them hot herbs first. Introduce them hot herbs and get them hot herbs in you for like 3 days or so, and then do some elderberry with your hot herbs. Or if it makes you feel better, you can do elderberry with your hot herbs, but do the hot herbs. Like the hot herbs are important, people, right now.
Yeah, the hot herbs are important right now. They did give a little information with the Osha root syrup, and they do talk about foods that will help respiratory challenges. That would be like carrots, yams, yellow squash, apricots. Pungent foods such as onions, garlic, leeks, ginger, chili peppers, and Indian curries are helpful in dilating the bronchioles and promoting expectoration. They enhance circulation to the lungs as well as to the body as a whole. They warm a cold system and get fluids moving.
Okay, so this is my dose because I'm going to take it now.
Okay. Is this your fire cider?
Because yes, it is my fire cider. I got a whole little tincture bottle. The label is not what's in here because it's my fire cider now.
Right.
but you know, it's a 2-ounce jar, and I got 3 of these 2-ounce jars out of my jar, so I did pretty good, I think. But you know, again, to go over what I have in here, this is onions, garlic, jalapenos, cayenne, ginger, turmeric, apple cider vinegar, elderberry, fennel seed, all together in one massive thing. And then now that it's all done, which I actually haven't done yet, I was under some stress. I've been under
A
some
little.
I think that's fair to say. Okay. I've been under some stress and I was all excited about the fire cider and I needed it. I needed it like in me, like right now. And so I forgot 2 steps. I forgot to add the alcohol and I forgot to add the honey. So that should probably go in here. It might taste better then. Not that it tastes horrible now, but it might help.
Yeah,
I was
might. Just a little bit. I did put honey in mine. I put like rosemary and onion and garlic and
Oh yeah, I do have rosemary in here.
yeah. And fire cider is a pretty, classic recipe that anybody can make.
Cinnamon is also in here.
Oh, I didn't have any cinnamon, so I don't have any cinnamon in mine. But I could add cinnamon oil. So I was thinking about doing that because I do have cinnamon oil, so I could add that. And it is food grade essential oil, so I'm not too worried about that. So I think about adding that, but I do have it up in the cupboard now, getting ready to cure because Red did hers like 3 weeks ago when we first were talking about coronavirus. Now mine's been sitting probably about a week now, but I got 2 more weeks on my fire cider. So, I suggest everybody making some too, just as a general health tonic. It's actually quite cheap because when you're done, you can take all those vegetables and seasonings that you use once you strain it out. You can put that in stir fries. You could use it in soups. You don't have to get rid of those vegetables.
You know what I did with mine?
What'd you do with yours?
I gave it to all my does.
Did you? Yeah, see, that was probably good. They probably could use a little bit of that immune boost before the babies come.
Yeah, man, that was my idea. So I'm going to take this.
Okay. Ooh.
It's hot.
Hot. Hot herbs.
Oh, and OSHA. I have OSHA.
Yep, OSHA root. Yeah, that's probably why you brought it up, because I brought up the OSHA root syrup. OSHA root is a special herb for the Rocky Mountains. So it's very interesting. They said long distance indigenous runners chewed the spicy roots to open their lungs and boost endurance. OSHA has been reputed to have been worn at the ankle to repel rattlesnakes, a testament to its powerful celery-like fragrance. The powdered root was placed on ground around bedrolls to deter reptiles. The entire plant, it's Dwayne. The entire plant was highly valued for a wide variety of ailments, and traditional medicines were prepared from it. In addition to its profound physical effects, OSHA is considered sacred. OSHA has been found in ancient medicine pouches and was used in tribal rituals. Thought people might like to know about that.
I brought it up in general because I was telling Ron about the hot herbs and it made me think about all the hot herbs that I packed in here. Now, I did put elderberry in with it, but all of those hot herbs are going to take effect and the elderberry is just kind of a kickback. It's not a main ingredient for this. It's just there as kind of a smooth over. And with all the hot herbs in here, it kind of helps balance it just a little bit.
Yeah.
So I feel that it's a really big powerhouse. And so far, I have to say it's working really well because we dosed up on it when we went okay, I'm not gonna lie, when they brought the truck to us, they brought me my elderberry syrup because the fire starter wasn't done yet. We were dosing on the elderberry syrup while we were at the hospital because that's all I had.
Right.
But we were making sure to try to get as many like onions and garlic and stuff like that that we could get in our food
Yeah.
as good while we were there. And then I was actually doing Arby's and doing a lot of horseradish sauce. And then
I
as
put
soon
horseradish in my fire cider too. I put a good,
horseradish,
probably
I
could
did
put a lot more, but
I did put the horseradish in here because I forget that sometimes I forget everything that I put in, but the horseradish is in here. And I remember that because I had to go to the special store to get the fresh horseradish to put in.
I couldn't find fresh, but I did have like 6 jars of like the creamy, thick, grated horseradish in my fridge that when you open it, it's still like, whoo. So I was like, nah, that's probably good.
I got fresh grated horseradish, and that's what I put in.
Ooh, that's always good stuff. Eat that with
Um,
some prime rib.
Listen, this fire cider is so hot, y'all, that when I close up this bottle and I shake it, I don't know if y'all will be able to hear it or not, but when I do that and I shake it and I open it, it like sounds like you're opening a soda, almost like
Like sizzles.
yeah, oh yeah, it does. It totally like sizzles. Um, when I opened the fire starter for the first time, it was like,
Oh, yeah.
and
I have
then
like 20 or 30 jalapenos in mine cut up,
yeah,
mostly with
and
the
I had quite a lot of jalapenos and stuff. So I mean, it's hot stuff, and I then you drain it, and then you gotta smush all your ingredients. And I gave all those to the does. I sent them over
Yeah,
to
but for everybody else who doesn't have chickens or other animals that would eat it, use it in stir fry, use it in soups, you could grind it up, use it in your spaghetti sauce to make kind of like a spicy arrabbiata sauce. There's
yeah.
lots of stuff you could do with those veg.
Oh
Don't
yeah, sure,
use them.
sure, absolutely. And so now that the fire cider was done, and here's why I forgot to add the honey and the alcohol, because I do have the actually with this batch I'm going to add the blackberry brandy because it's made from fresh blackberry, and blackberry is very good for antioxidant and raising the immune system. And then the brandy, of course, also, as much as we deny that in small amounts, alcohol is actually an immune booster, as well as a preservant that keeps it longer for you. And then the honey, I use Manuka and put in there. And that does a whole lot for you too. But the reason that I forgot those things was because we were getting ready to go to the hospital, specifically the ER, to have his stitches taken out of his face. And I'm like, yeah, no, we're dosing this. Like, we're doing this right now. And so we did. And we dose on this every time. So before we went out on Friday, we dosed before we went up and dealt with the hospital. And now I dosed tonight. And then tomorrow we'll probably take it with us and dose even while we're out tomorrow. Just to be on the safe side, we gotta go deal with a lot of people. Like, ortho's not bad. The orthopedic isn't bad because you're not dealing with sick people. They're all usually orthopedic. They've got broken legs, they've got broken arms, they've got broken things, and they're coming to the ortho. So that wasn't so bad.
Echinacea zinc lozenge.
Yeah,
These are great if anybody can find these in their area as well. They make echinacea and zinc. They make elderberry ones.
they
They make
do.
all the kinds.
So, now tomorrow we go into the dentist place, which that shouldn't be bad. But then we have to go to the ear, nose, throat place. That could be bad. And then
Yeah, that could actually be.
the trauma, liver, lung, probably not so bad, but that the ear, nose, throat, doc.
Yeah, you should be foaming up in there for sure. Grandpa.
Yeah, I'll be foaming up and dosing up right before we go there. Because yeah, but I'm just saying, like, we were dosing on these things at the hospital and everything. Everybody on the children's fourth floor had unknown respiratory. We did not. We do not. We have not. We still do not. We're at what? I don't want to get it wrong, so let me go. We're now entering day 16 of exposure, and we're all still very not sick.
16 what?
That's amazing. Kathy said she just recently got to harvest some turmeric, which that would be amazing to harvest.
Now, I will say that for this fire cider, I was actually able to find turmeric root at the store that I found the fresh grated.
Where'd you find that? Sure. Elephant House.
I actually got to bring home turmeric and grate it for myself, and that was amazing. It was an amazing thing. And I got fresh ginger root there too. So I had both ginger and turmeric root that I grated myself that are in here. And then the fresh grated horseradish. Now it was in a like kind of a pickling for preservation. But other than that, the only next best thing is getting the root itself and being able to
that's hard to find. I would like to grow some though. If anybody knows where to get like a starter root, or if there's seeds, something of that nature, I would like to get some horseradish because I like it a lot.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And then the onion is local grown, and I got those over there, and then so the onion that I put in here is local grown. The jalapenos are local grown. And the elderberry is not local, but it was from dried elderberry. They were dried elderberries, and I did do the whole cook them and bring out their juice, and I just put the juice in there. I didn't put the actual berries into the cider. And then the cayenne, I used powdered cayenne. The cinnamon was a very large cinnamon stick that I just stuck in there. And then the apple cider vinegar with turmeric, or with yeah. And then I think that's everything that I put in here. Now the other batch that I haven't, I've let the other batch sit longer. It's still sitting. That batch I didn't use jalapenos. We used I don't know what they are. They're these little red chilies
Okay.
that are supposed to be like excellent for like health and all this stuff. Like the Mexican community up here uses them a lot and the tonics and stuff, and I can't remember the name of it. It starts with an A, but I use those little red chilies instead of the jalapenos. Oh, and the OSHA. And the OSHA root that I use is actual OSHA root that I graded myself.
Right. Which it can be found a few different places. It seems like New Mexico.
Actually, not just graded by my own hand, but it was actually harvested by my neighbor's hand and then gifted to me to make fire cider.
Right. This is the way it should be. That's the way we used to do things. You know, we have, hey, I got these herbs. Would you like to make something out of them? And then share with me, and we can share the bounty, you know, much like, you know, the little red hen who wanted to, you know, plant the seed to then grow the wheat, to then make the bread with the friends, and the friends didn't want to make the bread, and then they wanted some when it was all done.
Yeah,
so the moral of the story is share with your friends, and they will.
Right. Right.
You know, I have no problem, especially like sharing, you know, fire cider or other things like that, or teaching people how to make a big batch, or if people wanted to throw in donations to make a big batch for everybody and we could ship it off to everyone, you know, make sure fire cider for all, you know.
Well, I told everybody when I made this, you can click, you can donate, you can send a donation to the P.O. box of something, ask for some fire cider or some elderberry syrup, and I would send it. And nobody took advantage of that. So
that's true. You got a good point on that. I would like some.
I didn't put a price because there isn't one. I said,
but I would like some. I would like to raise my hand. Hello, Red.
You're making some right now.
I don't care. Mine doesn't have OSHA root in it.
Oh yeah, I guess that's true.
Yep. We could do a trade. Right. But other than that, but I feel like, yes, people should take advantage of that. So if people are still out there and like to take advantage of that, please do. We absolutely would love.
I don't know if Charlie from Iowa listens all the time, but I do know that he has listened.
Mhm.
And if Charlie from Iowa happens to come across this, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, sir. He by far is probably given the largest donation.
Right.
He sent, I'm not going to give the actual monetary gift because he didn't even call it a donation. He calls it a gift. I'm not going to give that out. He's kind of a private guy,
Right.
but he gave me a paycheck.
Right.
And he specifically sent it, and you know, it wasn't for the medical. It's, you know, like make sure that you get hay for the goats and your farm is getting the things that it needs. And you know, he is a farmer in Iowa, friends with my husband's family, and you know, he sent us quite a substantial amount, which is really how we're going to get through the next little bit, because we do need to buy hay like next week, and we're both going, oh my gosh, how do we do that?
Right.
You know, even if we go back to work like right now, you know, the amount that we need for hay and everything else, we're not going to have that in a paycheck.
Right.
So, you know, it's like crap, but, you know, we went to the P.O. box and opened it up, and boom, there was this tiny, tiny little envelope. It was the tiniest envelope. It was like this big. And I was like, what is this? And then I opened it and there was a large, substantial check in there. That was like opening a paycheck. So that was really nice. And we really, really needed that. So, I thank you. I promised we were going to get hay for the goats. And that's going to help us get to the springs and help us get a couple more groceries and some propane. So it's also going to get the rest of my car parts that I need to get my car back on the road, which is going to be so freaking helpful so that I can actually go back to work and so that it will be so much less to go back and forth to the springs. Because for those of you that don't know, I've had a trail of really bad stuff going on, and I'm not one that talks about it very often or brings stuff up like that. Or, like Scarlett was saying, we had talked about, I don't do fundraisers. I don't ask people for money. I've been in a lot of spots where I should be, but I don't. And one of those things is right before this accident, my car's rear blew out. And I have not had the money, even with the deep discount that I get. I have not had the money to get that fixed yet. And I was driving Frank, and Frank had a bunch of different problems that we had to fix so that I could keep going to work. And that made the car go further and further behind. And then hubby's truck broke and we had to do work to it. And then I was borrowing the neighbor's truck because Frank was broke again. And I was borrowing the mechanic's like loan a vehicle. And it almost literally killed me when I was driving down the road. The whole drive shaft fell out and it like went straight up in the air and went off the road. It was crazy. And I almost died and that, but I was totally uninjured. And then that happened. And then Frank was running again. And then I was getting back and forth with that. And then Frank got over David when hubby and him went to go do something in Frank on the farm. And I kind of Frank can be ran right now. He's got a couple of things that need to be fixed, not because of that, but other things that were already needing to kind of be fixed on him. But I kind of have this apprehension now about driving him, and I don't know how to feel about it, honestly.
I understand that. Our car is broken down here at our house too, so I totally understand not wanting to drive on potentially broken things.
Well, like I was saying, it's not just that, but I don't know in general how I feel about driving Frank.
Right. Right.
There's a little trauma there.
Right.
There's a couple things there. I say I have to, I have some words with Frank. Frank and I are gonna have to talk.
Frank make it through that though.
Yeah. And then, when I say that though, I think it's really like my cover talk for hubby.
Yeah.
I haven't even dealt with that.
Right.
It's bad enough all of this happened and it was an accident. It was purely an accident. And he's struggling hard. but there's a little like there's a little anger every now and again.
Right.
And there's a little like, you know, what the hell are you doing or not doing, or, you know, how? Like, I don't, just how? You know, but then at the same time, I keep in mind that it was an accident, and if David can forgive him, I shouldn't be the one holding a grudge.
Right.
And David holds no grudge. David's made that very clear from day one. I mean, the social workers, when they came, they tried to do like the normal crap, and they were like, they asked David questions. You know, at first they tried to kick us out of the room, and David was like, no, absolutely not. My parents stay. And she's like, well, I may be asking you some uncomfortable questions that you may not want to answer in their presence. And he's like, no, there is nothing that you can ask me that my parents can't know. My parents know everything about me. I'm their child. And, you know, they asked him like they said they were normal questions, you know, have you ever felt afraid at home? Do you feel abused mentally or physically? Is there an alcohol or drug problem in the home? Have you ever felt suicidal in your home or any other time in the last like 6 weeks? Do you have a drug or alcohol problem? Are you having unprotected sex?
Wow.
Have you ever felt threatened in your home? Do you feel safe at home?
Right.
These were like the questions that they asked, and David always had like very snappy answers. You know, they're like, do you feel safe in your home? And he's like, yeah, I'm trying to get back there.
Right.
You know, and then she's like, you know, have you ever felt threatened in your home? And he's like, yeah, I mean, sometimes, I guess. I mean, mom and dad threaten a lot of things, but they don't really follow through, hardly ever.
Right. Or I was thinking he was probably thinking about Mike coming to beat him up. Like, do you ever feel threatened in your home? Like, when him
No,
and
it's
his are fighting.
mom and dad threaten stuff all the time, but they never do it. They'll be like, we're going to beat your butt. Do they? Nope.
True. He's got a good point.
And I was like looking at him, and he's like, what? It's true. But I mean, no, like, I don't feel like they're going to hurt me.
Right. That's fun.
And, you know, they're like, is there a drug or alcohol problem in your home? And he's like, no. He's like, if my mom found drugs on the property, I don't even, I might feel very threatened.
Right.
Then.
Yeah. That's a true statement for sure.
I mean, he did. He flat out, he was like, if my mom found drugs on the property, I would feel very threatened and possibly hurt.
That's a true story, though.
And then, like, you know, have you ever felt suicidal? And he's like, I'm 12. I almost just died. How are you going to ask me that question?
Right. That is a dumb question to ask after something like that, honestly. Like, give them a few days and then ask that question, you know?
Did he wake up going, oh my God, I'm still alive. I didn't die. Damn. No, then I'm pretty sure he wasn't suicidal.
Right.
You know, but he was like on it with his answers to that lady. Cause like I said, he was like, I'm 12 and I almost just died. How are you going to ask me that?
He's got a good point.
And then they're like, is anybody in your home suicidal? He's like, how would I know that?
Right.
Yeah. And then, are you happy at home? He's like, yeah, I'm very unhappy with you asking me all these questions, though. And she's like, well, these are standard questions that we have to ask due to the nature of your injuries. And he's like, I have great parents. There's nothing wrong with my parents. Fix my body so I can go home.
Right. You know, and we do know, and when as many stories as we've covered of medical kidnapping in the past, in CPS, you know, it's good to, you know, we know how sometimes if kids don't answer those questions the right way, things happen. So it is important. It's good to see a good experience where they respected your wishes, where they respected your choices, your holistic mindset, your holistic upbringing. They respected your spirituality. Did they have a priest come up there when he was pretty bad?
No,
They didn't, huh? They didn't ask you nothing about that, did they?
no.
I feel like they should have had a priest come up. Where is their chaplain? You know what I mean? When he was really bad off, why didn't they have him come up?
We never ever saw a chaplain ever
That's
the whole time we were there. And I went to the chapel several times actually while I was there.
I bet you did, because I would have went too just to pray. You know what I mean? And you know, a couple of them I've gotten like little stones that they've had there, which has been really nice to take with you to kind of have that piece of something in the hospital, which is a good idea for other hospitals if you guys aren't doing it out there. Just put some stones that you can get at inspiration stores that have little crosses or the little fish on them that people could take with them. These stones are really cheap but mean a lot to people. Even just crystals, you know, cheap 25-cent crystals that you can get that people could take with them out of the chapel and have that energy with them as they go around the hospital.
They had plastic rosaries.
Okay, that's something. That was something. I mean, I would prefer, I like the rock idea when they had with the little crosses on them and stuff. Those were nice. I thought those were good. But
Right.
who was the chaplain? Can we ask that? Because I just feel like they just dropped, they don't care about religion in hospitals no more.
No, because like I said, I went to that chapel several times. Like in the first time, I'm not gonna lie, dude. The first time I walked in that chapel, I walked through the doors, I made it in there, and I literally just fell on my knees and started crying hysterically, uncontrollably, nonstop, screaming at the top of my lungs. Never saw a chaplain.
That's offensive to me in a way, because you would have thought that they would have called him up, especially when he was like so bad off in the beginning, you know?
Yeah, no.
That's messed up. I bet they have chaplain services, but where was the chaplain? When did they ask you that on intake? Like, do you have any religious requests or?
Nope.
I feel like they're just like ignoring that now. Why ask that way? But I think they should. That's an important part of healing. You know, a lot of people's faith.
That social worker came and asked a whole lot of fucking questions, but she never once asked if there was a religion or a religious belief.
Right. And there should have been. You'd think there would be. Especially, they should have been asking you, especially when you got to the ER, asking you, would you like someone to pray with you? Do you have any prayer requests? We have a chaplain who's willing to come and talk to you or give your child the last rites. You know, anything like that. Anything. You would think that there would have been something. So that's too bad.
Nothing like that. And like I said, that first time I went in the chapel was awful. Second time I went in the chapel wasn't that much better. And then the last time I went in the chapel was as we were leaving with David, and we never saw a chaplain.
That's too bad. I hope that changes in the future. But with that being said, we better get out of here to let you get.
Yes, I need to go because I have to get some sleep.
Yes, you do. But thank you guys for joining us tonight. You can check out more of Journey into Freedom if you go to freedomrevolutionnetwork.com, click on FRN Radio, and then go down to Journey into Freedom. And you can find more information about that there, as well as, guess what, everyone? Tomorrow, the original Red Pill show that you will see just in a few hours here. They are going to have a special nighttime show tomorrow, right after Ron, with special guest Steve Santini, who is a world record holder as well as a Titanic expert and much, much more. So make sure you tune into that after Emergency Management Associates. So with that being said, and feel free to check out the website, check out our new social network, check out our swag store, check out all what we have to offer on Freedom Revolution Network. It's not just one show or one thing. We're a diverse group of people with many different shows that you might find enjoyable or might find something that helps you in this life. I'm going to try to come up with a couple days a week that I'm going to do a weekday show, either before or kind of after at night, to kind of just give people the nightly updates instead of just once a week. So I'm going to try to do that for you guys as well. And I'm going to pop in on the original Red Pill show from here or there. We're going to get the night talk with Dwayne Lanham here pretty soon. That'll be a good show. Tune in 2 weeks from now on Clarity After Dark. We're going to have KJ Moore, the owner of Carpe Diem Nursing, as well as Carpe Diem Botanicals. So that'll be an exciting show on Friday the 13th. So
cool.
Yeah, pretty excited for that. So, with that being said, we're going to get out of here for tonight. I'm going to go check on everybody in the YouTube chat. So thank you, everybody on YouTube, for being here with us. We appreciate you. We love everybody.
Yes, and we thank everybody for all your donations, all of your prayers, every divinity, everybody who has reached out. We appreciate it all. You can always send the donations there at Freedomizer.
FreedomRevolutionNetwork.com. Hit donate.
Network.
I'll show you guys how to do it. I'll actually share the screen, and before we get out of here, I'll show everybody how to do it. Because if you've never donated before on the network, it might be something new for you that you might want to know how to do. You can donate to Red. You could donate to the network. If you'd like to donate to Red, just specify Red in the tribute area, which I'm going to show you.
Team David. A lot of people have been doing, I think, the hashtag Team David.
Yeah, hashtag Team David has been a popular one, so people know that it's coming right from Red. You can either go to Red's page, which is Journey into Freedom. Right here, I'll bring everybody to it so you guys get to see it if you've never seen it before here on the Freedom Revolution Network. And then we'll scroll down. Here's Red, Journey into Freedom, with your host, Red Gypsy. We are live, as everybody can see, so you can listen to us on Spreaker here. This is the audio-only version of the show. You can also scroll down. Here's the donate. Support Journey into Freedom by donating today. We had an announcement, same announcement. We're going to start changing that, but here's where you can click Donate to Red. Click Donate to Red, then a new box will pop up to donate to the revolution. Here it talks about our shows. Please use the tribute feature. So down here, you can make a donation in the amount of whatever you like or other. You could specify an amount. You can also have this donation repeat every single month. So if you'd want to support the station as a whole every month, much like kind of what PBS and other people do, if you want to do a monthly donation, you can. Tribute gift. Click Tribute Gift right here. Name of person to be honored. Okay, and then you can put Team David or David Style or you could put, Red's fund or whatever. And we can have that done. And then we can also, if you'd like an acknowledgement, either through the mail or via email, we can get back to you with a personalized thank you. Because sometimes we don't know how to get back a hold of you. So if you do want some recognition or acknowledgments, we will send you a thank you. Please just fill out this tribute gift section. And that will help us be able to get something back to you. To just thank you for your, contribution. You can leave it anonymous as well. You can do that, but we do like to know who's giving the donation. It doesn't necessarily go out public to our people, but it would be shown to us. So that's something, and then you just donate at the bottom through PayPal. And that's kind of how it works. And so make sure you do that. If you really like what we do around here on the Freedom Revolution Network, you want to help Red out, whatever your driving force is, we're just a group of people who want to do a community access style network of shows. And Red just happened to hit a hard time. So we appreciate all of you, because without this, the Freedom Revolution Network wouldn't even exist. So everything you guys have done up until this point has kept us going. And for that,
Right.
You're keeping our passion and what we love to do alive. And so we really do thank you.
For those who want to send things personally, gifts, exchanges, things of that nature, you can send them to David or Red or both at P.O. Box 446, Swatch, Colorado 81149. And you can also give donations directly to PayPal me at
Okay, what was the P.O. box again?
P.O. Box 446, Swatch, Colorado 81149.
So that's it, everybody on the screen. So everybody who's looking at the screen share right now, that is the P.O. box. You put it in care of David or of Red, and they will be able to get that.
You can send them directly to me on PayPal, PayPal me /Red Gypsy Jiff. And for those who don't have PayPal and have Cash App, I started that for you guys because I had a lot of people say if you had Cash App, I would, be able to send you money. So I have Cash App now. So that's cash.app / and then Red Gypsy Jiff, same as the PayPal.
Yep. And then a lot of times the symbol is just money sign, Red Gypsy.
Oh yeah, the money sign. I forgot about that. So it's Cash App, cash.app / money symbol Red Gypsy Jiff.
Yep. So that's how you can send money to Red on Cash App. Like I said, you can send it to the
And
network.
you can always send me money right through Facebook Messenger.
Oh yeah, Facebook Messenger works too for those people who are on Facebook. So if you like what we do, or you want to support Red, whatever that is, you want to support Ron, you want to support Liberty Librarian, you want to support the original Red Pill Show, whatever that is, please do it if you like what we do around here. Like I said, we thank God for you guys every night. It's amazing. We sit around and we say, Red, do you ever think it would be as big as it is right now? And we always go, no. We never thought. We just thought if people wanted to listen, it'd be great. And so far, the support has been amazing. The outpouring has been there. And you guys are our people, and you are our tribe, and we appreciate you.
Yes, very much. Very, very much.
Thank you.
So I will keep you all informed. Hopefully, Scarlett's going to get the updates rolling on the page for you guys.
We'll get that rolling tomorrow. I know Mel and I are working. It's a work day for us on the website. So we'll be doing some stuff like that tomorrow, and I'll have her show me how to update and move those text boxes, and then put it on your page where we can kind of make, because there's a lot of stuff you actually have to do. So I'll figure it out. We'll make it beautiful and pretty, and then you guys can find good updates on David and keep those things going. We can also hook up the Caring Bridge. I was thinking about doing that as well, just because it's kind of an easy place and they give you a platform to do it. And then we can link the Caring Bridge to the show page.
That would be great.
Yeah, because then we can give that to everybody. So that's what Mel and I will work on tomorrow. after she gets done. Remember, 2 shows of the original Red Pill tomorrow. So you got double dose of original Red Pill with Mel and Tim. So definitely have fun with that. So I appreciate everybody for being here. Get up early in about 4 hours here for the original Red Pill show, maybe 5 hours, because I probably got my times off just a little bit. Yeah, 5 hours. So 5 hours for the original Red Pill show here on the Freedom Revolution Network.
I'm getting up in 5 hours, heading out if I can remember.
Oh, you can listen on the way. Ooh, Red.
Yeah, except I have no service most of the way. It's all canyon.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you got to go 50. I forgot that. You really are in the middle of a canyon the whole time.
Yeah, man.
That's
Yeah.
true. You have to go on that scary bridge, don't you?
Yeah.
Nope. Hold on, nope.
I don't like it, G.
I would not either. I'd be the part of the ride. I'd be like, okay, we're gonna close our eyes and just breathe quick and hope it's over, okay? And just hope it's over.
Yep.
Yep.
You know how I feel about bridges to begin with, so this is super hard for me.
There's a bridge at Canyon City, y'all, that's like no joke. Some real deal. It's kind of creepy looking. Red's got to go over that. I forgot because she doesn't go that way. I mean, this is the most they've ever been outside of the valley since they moved there. Okay.
Oh my God, yes.
Legit. They have not really left the valley. So this going to the springs thing was never going to be a thing. So like, I'm sure David likes it to some degree because he actually gets to see a little bit of Colorado here and there.
No, he hates it.
Does he really hate it?
He hates going into the city. He's like, this is the most horrific thing. Why do people live like this?
Right. I'm sure now that he's been away from it so long, but I'm sure he likes on the way there, not the city itself, but seeing things.
Yeah, to a degree, but he's never really been one that wants to like go do a whole lot of stuff. And the stuff that he wants to do, he does like the drive up there because all the stuff he likes to do is along the way. The river rafting, the sky gliding and zip lining and all that. That's all up there. And he's all like, yeah, let's stop and do this. Kid, you're broke.
No. Let's not.
Right.
No. It's like he's like,
No.
I'm gonna go home and use my hospital bracelet to go demolition derby.
Yeah.
No, that's not happening. I'm sorry. Not happening.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. We're gonna have aneurysms first before that occurs. And I told him we gotta keep your mother alive just for a little while longer, considering we're friends. So he's not allowed to make any moves that are going to artificially shorten your life, which that would.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. No, we're like driving and he's like, hey, Mom, the best zip lining in all of Colorado is right over there. Yeah. And wave to it as we go by, broken child. Like,
he's always trying to go do something. And it's like, no, we can't, not right now. Like, no. And he wants to go do all the things. So it's good that he's in good spirits. It teaches all of us that, you know, we should be a little bit more appreciative and thankful for what we go through. Because you never know when that's going to be taken away from you. You never know when that good health.
This kid's all like, hey, Mom, do we have time to go whitewater rafting on the way back? No, you're not going whitewater rafting, Mr. Level 4 liver laceration.
Right? Can you even clip your helmet? No.
Right.
I love his spunk, though. If we all could just have that type of spunk and drive to live, we'd be a lot better off. And the kindness, you know, and just the thought.
He's going to be sucking up every country minute he's given.
Yeah, you're right. True. But it's good for him, too. I hope this shapes his character. And so he's learning.
Oh, and I would like to say on David's behalf, because he likes to tell everybody this. Everybody's like, David, why do you think you're healing so fast? David's answer is very basic now. And it's I was raised in the dirt.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people believe that. You know, I had a friend actually post about that on Facebook today that was like, I have a picture of all my kids in the dirt, and I believe it helped their immune systems and healing. And so there might be something to that. And so I guess we'll leave it on that note tonight. Get in the dirt more. Be in the dirt. Be raised of the dirt. People of the earth, the people of the salt of the earth. It's not a bad place to be. You know, from ashes to ashes, dust to dust, we will return one day.
So everybody have a great night. Dare to be different. Dare to be you. Dare to learn to love yourself unconditionally.
And from the land of 10,000 lakes and from the highest desert valley in the great American Southwest, good night, universe.